Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Utilita Bowl, the home of Hampshire cricket. We are of course on the Nursery ground here, but we love bringing you live military sport from new locations. So we're really delighted that the men's Inter Services 2020 cricket is kicking off proceedings here. Now, it was the Royal Navy who won the T20 last year, so they earned the privilege of playing both their games at Lord's on Thursday, but today we're watching the British Army up against the Royal Air Force, and Cy Hunter spoke to both their captains yesterday.
How's the mood in camp? How are the boys feeling? I'm sure very excited at the start of a brilliant inter-service week.
Yeah, the lads are looking forward to it. We've played some good cricket up to this point, so yeah, really looking forward to this week now.
What about that rivalry with the Army? Obviously a number of players in there that you've played with alongside, at UCAF level, for example, and against over the years, but what do you think their threats are come tomorrow?
Yeah, we know them well. Their threats are always the same. They contain really well. They're a good side. They know T20, so yeah, looking forward to the challenge.
They were saying about themselves being, or they feel anyway, they're a very positive side. I'm sure it's the same sort of cricket you'll be looking to bring though tomorrow too.
Yeah, there's a few areas where we think we can get to them, so hopefully that'll come good tomorrow.
And good in a way, I imagine, just to get stuck into the tournament at this stage, not have to wait to Thursday, but get going tomorrow and get a win in there.
Yeah, definitely. Like, everyone wants to play at Lord's twice, but at the same time, it is quite nice just playing a T20 and then having a few days off and then another T20. It allows you to be able to recover and things like that. So yeah, good. Yeah,
and this is at Nursery grounds, beautiful place to play cricket as well. What are the conditions like? Obviously, you've had a bit of a run out against Hampshire seconds. What do you make of the conditions? It's been fairly dry recently, of course, as well.
Yeah, it's a stunning ground. The pitch is quite a long way across, so there's a shorter side and then there's a longer side. The pitch has got a little bit in it, I would have said. So I think there is something there for the bowlers, but there's been two pretty big scores. So we've got a few more options with the bat this year, and we've got a few more seam options as well, so that's quite good.
What would it mean to you to get that win tomorrow as you look ahead to Lord's? Obviously, get that momentum hopefully to take into Thursday.
Yeah, that's what we're focused on, and yeah, it would mean a lot. But obviously, there's two. I think everyone's fairly well matched this year, so I think it's going to be a good competition.
And your preparation in terms of game time running into Inter Services this year, how's it gone in the recent months?
Yeah, we've won a lot of games. We've worked on our plans. Yeah, there's been some good cricket played, but all matters tomorrow and then on Thursday. So.
We've got 8 new faces into the squad, so I'm excited for them because this is the best week in our calendar. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
How's everyone been settling in then with those new faces coming in? Guys like yourself, extremely experienced, but hopefully everyone's been integrating seamlessly.
Yeah, absolutely. The young guys come in are very excited and they've got so much talent, and I want them to showcase that tomorrow for the starters, and hopefully we'll win tomorrow against the RAF, and then leading into a special day on Thursday.
And just sum up for us that rivalry that you have with the RAF. Of course, a lot of boys there that you know very well, having played UCAF and having played against them for so many years too.
Yeah, a lot of rivalry, but I've enjoyed it over the years, and so I'm just excited to see how it goes tomorrow, and I want them to do it as well. And a great game for the services. I want that to happen.
Absolutely, and in some ways it feels, I don't know what it feels like for you guys, but for us, I mean, it feels almost like August at the moment with the ground being so dry and the conditions as well. How has that influenced your preparations?
Yeah, we've had great weather, which is always great because obviously the season starts in April, so sometimes it's not great. So to have every game, we've only had one rained off fixture against the MCC, so the preparation has been fantastic.
What about some of the RAF's threats that you know very well and some of the things you're looking out for?
Yeah, their captain Adam Fisher obviously and Tom Shorthouse are great players. They're talented. We went to Sri Lanka together at the beginning of the year, so I can't wait to see what they do, and hopefully we'll get them out for nothing.
I mean, in terms of the T20s last year at Lord's, of course a bit of disappointment for the Army, but the 50 over stuff, obviously that success, you lifting the trophy back in July at Vine Lane, you boys have plenty of experience with that success.
Yeah, definitely. Well, unfortunately I didn't play the T20 season due to deployment last year, so I then came back in to be captain for the 50 over stuff, and the boys were absolutely tremendous, so hopefully we can carry on that winning mentality moving into this season, and especially the T20.
How excited are you to be landing out at Lord's? We'll get chatting to you, of course, in the lead up as well to it, but with that on the horizon, I know it's probably a cliche for athletes to say we're focused on the next game only, but obviously with that looming, that's so exciting.
Oh, so exciting, and hopefully Frank's done some great work behind the scenes as well to get more people involved this year, so hopefully we've got a decent crowd. Hopefully weather holds out as well, so I just can't wait for the spectacle, and I think it'll be my last year in the T20 shirt, so we'll see how that goes as well.
Oh, wonderful. So potentially a bit of a send-off then too?
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah. I'm thinking about retiring definitely the T20 format with the talent that we've got coming through the ranks. I think it's only fair for them to express their talent as well, so I think it's the right time for me with my family, my career, so I think that's the time.
And some top memories, obviously.
Oh, the best, and it's been my greatest honour to be captain of this team, and hopefully I can bow out on a win.
Jay, Adam and their teams will of course get their chance to play at Lord's on Thursday, but the result of this match will dictate in which order they face the reigning champions. So to guide you through the next few hours is our commentary team led by Si Hunter.
Thanks, Kath. Yes, hello, and a very warm welcome on this sunniest of late spring days to our live coverage as the RAF and the Army go head-to-head in the men's Inter Services T20 cricket opener for 2025. Glorious blue skies at the home of Hampshire cricket. The nursery ground at Utilita Bowl looking much like a postcard scene, as it has done for a lot of the past while, in very settled weather indeed. And with those warm temperatures, how might the dry conditions influence tactics on the pitch today, with the outfield resembling something more like August than early season? Two experienced captains at the toss. Adam Fisher told us he feels there are three well-matched teams in the competition and says his men know how they can get to their Army opponents. Jay Boynton, his opposite number, says he'll be bowing out of T20 cricket for the Army after this week, with Lords to come, of course, on Thursday, and says his side is feeling very positive. It's his side who've won the toss and will bat first. The likes of Keddy Lesporus, Denzel James and Jay Boynton, full of experience and class in that middle order. The RAF yesterday opened the bowling with former skipper Tom Shorthouse, who had a good time of it with the ball against Hampshire seconds. There's a first Inter-Service T20 appearance for the keeper-batter Sam Murby in the side. And a great day indeed for Ross Diver, the stalwart batsman for the Royal Air Force. It's his 50th Inter-Service cap for the Light Blues, and he leads his side out across the boundary rope, just behind the umpires there, ahead of his skipper Adam Fisher. The Light Blues making their way across that parched-looking outfield onto the ground, and of course losing the toss here at Utilita Bowl. The Army batsmen making their way down onto the field of play. Stunning backdrop as well here at Utilita Bowl. A golf course over at the far side of the ground. All the nets in behind. A very leafy part of the countryside down here. And it's a real treat to be kicking off the Inter-Services, the men's competition, in such a fashion. Now the pitch this morning had just a touch of green on it and was playing, interestingly, yesterday. Plenty of spin, which at this stage of the season was quite interesting. And Jake Benson of the Army telling us this morning that he was getting plenty of purchase with his tweaks, that tall left armour. As we're looking here, and it will be Tom Shorthouse who will open the bowling, much like he did yesterday for the Royal Air Force. A fantastic captain he's been in the past for the Light Blues, scoring that brilliant 100 as part of the 50-over competition at Vine Lane last year. And the Army opening the batting with Graham Wiseman, back after a couple of years, alongside Liam Fletcher, his opening partner today. And Tom Shorthouse just getting his run-up sorted, collecting the ball there, and the Royal Air Force getting their fielding position sorted. It's forecast to be a hot one again. And what will the Army batsmen be able to make of this, having won the toss and hoping to get some quick runs on the board? Yes, 20-over contest. And of course, both sides going forward to take on the Royal Navy on Thursday at Lords. And the winners of the competition last year, with the honour of playing both their games at the home of cricket. And the loser of today's game playing them first. And the winner going head-to-head in that decider. Now play just about to get underway here. And umpire signalling. Make sure the scorers are happy. Shorthouse comes through. And a watchful defence there first off. Very straight delivery to keeping the batsman honest. Shorthouse wheels in again and just drifting onto the pads. A leg by, the batsman will take it. And the Army are underway. One for no loss here in Hampshire. And Shorthouse coming round the wicket, which is often his favoured method of approach. And ball just patted back down the wicket. It'd be interesting to see how it plays. It was a little up and down yesterday as well. At times, some balls jumping up just a little. And fairly straight once again from Shorthouse. The ball negotiated into the leg side. And once again, that's just turned off the hips there. And another single picked up for the Army. And Graham Wiseman off the mark. Shorthouse in to Fletcher. And defender just back up the wicket. And the end of a fairly tidy first over from Tom Shorthouse. The RAF skipper Adam Fisher will be pleased with that. And seam bowler John Hawke limbering up, just getting his run up sorted. He'll take the new ball from the other end. And the format, of course, T20 today. Both sides know the importance on this very quick outfield of getting a good start. But also how yesterday both teams finding wickets falling in clusters against Hampshire seconds. So they'll be wary of that threat as well. And John Hawke, who bowled well in that 50-over competition last July, which is won by the Army. As he runs into bowl. Oh, and a beauty there from Hawke. Just nibbling away and beating the outside edge. And Adam Fisher was just mentioning that yesterday, how the pitch was doing a bit, which might seem counterintuitive in these conditions. And the heat down here towards the south coast. Runs into bowls. And that's pushed back up towards mid-on. And they'll take a single there, the Army. Wiseman is checking the fielders on the leg side there as Hawke runs in once more. Oh, and tries a deft little late cut, Wiseman, but can't connect. The ball travels through to the keeper. That's straight from Hawke and patted back down the pitch to the bowler. Adam Sutcliffe, the RAF wicketkeeper today, just moving up to the stumps, trying to eradicate the chance of Wiseman moving down the wicket. And that's cut, but only as far as point. Army batsmen take the run anyway. That's some nice work there on the edge of the circle. And Liam Fletcher takes strike once more. It's well taken as well by Sutcliffe. Sharp work up at the stumps. And the end of the second over. And the RAF keeping things fairly tight here in Hampshire so far. 4 for no loss off the first 2 overs of the game. And conditions in which the spin of Shorthouse, you think, would be crucial. Just keeping things tight, but that attacking threat as well with a bit of purchase off the wicket. It's just sliding onto leg again, and Fletcher thinks twice about moving down the wicket. Called back by his fellow opener. Shorthouse moves in once more. Oh, reverse swept beautifully there for the first boundary of the day. And lovely stuff from Wiseman. Gets his boundary count up and running. Well, he's seen the general line so far from Shorthouse. And a premeditated reverse there. And a couple of bounces and skipped away to that boundary towards the main ground at Utilita Bowl. A boundary which you feel will be peppered through the day And you feel as well through the infield, anything that pierces that fielding ring will be 4. Good attacking intent there from the Army opener. And back on his line there once again. Shorthouse, good length as well. Around the wicket he comes once more. And moving down the wicket there, Wiseman, but only as far as the bowler. And trying to tighten things up once again after that boundary. Oh, and he reverses again, but that's gone straight up in the air, and it'll be a catch. The first wicket of the day to fall. And just tried one time too many, Graham Wiseman. And Shorthouse just plugging away with that line. And the RAF get that early wicket. And our presenter, Kath Brazier, has joined me up in the commentary box.
I think I'm a jinx again. I'm doing what I did on the rugby. But Wiseman's a name that many people remember for years playing for Army cricket. And I think he's been out for a couple of years. So it's a really nice, I mean, not such a nice return from him, I guess, at the moment. But good to see him back in cricket gear.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll not be thanking you for jinxing him as you came up the commentary box. But a player, as you say, you've spoken to a little bit in the past, and I guess another one whose experience counts for a lot in these competitions.
Absolutely. And I believe he was wicketkeeper for many years as well. So sort of stepped in one of those, I like to say, Alex Stewart mould, you know, wicketkeeper batsman. I mean, there's many of them, but I'm going back to my my generation, obviously. But yeah, first wicket to fall. And we saw a couple of Hampshire seconds games yesterday, didn't we, Si? And I mean, obviously a really tough opposition, but I think, you know, the losses weren't too great, and there were good wickets from both sides and a lot of runs from both sides. But the boundary over here, I'm looking away to, as we see it, to the batsman's offside is a pretty long boundary, isn't it?
Yeah, got that space out there for sure. Important for those fielders patrolling the boundary, as you say, Kath, to be on their game as Shorthouse finishes another over. And as someone who's very familiar with these parts as well, Kath, having spent a lot of time in earlier years down in Hampshire, I mean...
Could you tell from my Hampshire accent?
Be an impressive guess, wouldn't it? But no, I mean, for conditions to be like this so early on in the season, it's remarkable, really. And the players were saying to us in those games yesterday how much purchase there was on the wicket too, weren't they, in the spin. And that's just straight onto pads once again from Hawke. And not troubling the umpires, though. Leg by there as Keddy Lesporus has come in to take strike.
Well, I believe you've got a special guest on the way, Si, but I will say that every year when we have Lords and the in services cricket so early, people are like, why do you do it in May? It's, you know, the weather's so unpredictable, and then you get days like today and you think, yeah, this is why, you know, it's absolutely perfect. But yeah, I'm going to make room for a special guest who's coming on to join. Special guest coming to join, indeed, as that ball's played up towards the boundary, but collected nicely, just a single there. And well, it's an absolute pleasure to have alongside me Steve Blackburn, who is overseeing everything inter-service cricket this week. What a special week we have, of course, today, as Hawke comes in, and just a muted appeal there for LBW, but umpire not interested, and the ball just trickles out into the offside. But you, sir, of course, overseeing everything inter-service cricket this week, with today and a big day at Lords. 3 matches, of course, with UCAF women taking on MCC, and indeed these 2 teams taking on the Royal Navy. What a special time of it. And just defended there, but that's an interesting run taken, and well, he would have been short there, Keddy Lesporus, eager to get off strike, and well, very, very close. I think it was. Yeah, I think he was short of his ground there. But yes, a welcome to you, and just give us a bit of a run through as to what you've been doing recently to make sure that the tournament itself is in good shape, and we're going to have a brilliant few days.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, my role is to sort of work with the overall organising committee to make sure that the Armed Forces Cricket Festival, which is at Lords on Thursday, runs smoothly. All indicators at the moment are very positive. We've got a lot of community engagement, and we've got a really good weather forecast. and the quality and the level of the cricket being played is top class. So I would certainly recommend for those listeners who are able to make their way across to Lords on Thursday.
Yeah, fantastic. At the home of cricket. And today as well, just a word for Hampshire CCC. I mean, a fantastic venue. Utilita Bowl Nursery ground looking fantastic today in the sunshine, and the players themselves have greatly enjoyed the last couple of days. We mentioned those Hampshire seconds fixtures that both these sides played yesterday, and the facilities just brilliant. We of course remember back to the pandemic and the COVID year when Test cricket was made possible thanks largely to Utilita Bowl and Old Trafford up north as well with those COVID bubbles, and greatly because of the facilities too, Steve.
Well, the facilities here at Hampshire are absolutely top notch. I mean, you just look down at the ground now, and those watching on live streaming will see that the quality of the ground is first class. You've got good consistent bounce. The players have clearly got excellent visibility, and it's a tight game. I think the bowling from the RAF is good. The fielding is sound, and I think the Army they're still getting their eye in.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see just how much the players themselves are enjoying things, and the Army 14 for 1 into the 5th over of the match, and it's a fascinating wicket as well, Steve, just to see how the weather has played a part in it. And we mentioned, of course, that ball just there as well, just keeping a little low and very close. Once again, Lasporus flirting with danger once more between the wickets, but some of those balls keeping a little low and one or two occasionally jumping up too. It's T20, but the players are fairly watchful so far. It's fairly tight once more, and just defended back up the pitch. But how much have you enjoyed your role so far in making the necessary movements to get all this working?
It's really rewarding. The opportunity to get a tournament put together of all three services who are able to play a game which I really enjoy. In fact, and I know that they love the game. It's difficult to actually put into words. It's a fantastic opportunity. I think it's difficult to understand how how the tournament's going to go. I think it's going to be very close. Looking at the quality of the cricket being played today, the RAF are bowling really tightly, and the fielding is also tight. And the Army are really struggling here. And this will be interesting to see how this unfolds. But to be able to organise this sort of tournament leading onto Thursday, it's a huge privilege.
I mentioned there the tight bowling. Scott Burdekin in his first over, not going for many, and that spin. The other thing, I guess, with spin bowling, of course, is that the overs tick by almost without noticing until you look up at the scoreboard and you realise that we're 5 overs in, and the RAF just trying to strangle really the Army's run rate. And Keddy Lasporus a couple of times there, just eager to sneak the odd single, which the fielders have been very interested in. John Hawke there bowling to him, and Lasporus offering up the defence. But yeah, in terms of the quality of the competition, Adam Fisher, RAF captain, saying to me yesterday that he feels that they are 3 well-matched teams. And of course, when we see the UCAF women's fixture against MCC as well, that first match on Thursday morning, well, it's great. And that ball's just gone straight up. And a fairly regulation catch there. Second wicket of the day goes. Lasporus wasn't looking comfortable in his short stay at the crease, and chipping it to extra cover and just getting a bit ahead of the ball. Ball just stopping a little on that wicket. Maybe a little too paced so far, but a very, very good start for the Royal Air Force into the 6th over of the match. And John Hawke, much as we've seen him do in the past, keeping things tight, and also that attacking threat too. Just encouraging Lasporus into that drive, and just a bit loose there. Denzel James making his way out, but just the Army starting to perhaps feel a little bit of that pressure you mentioned.
I think so. I think both outgoing batsmen will be disappointed. The one sort of with the sweeping reverse shot was a little unorthodox, and this time, as you say, a regulation catch. I think he'll be very disappointed with that shot.
And the Army winning the toss and hoping to take advantage of beautiful conditions, hoping to set an imposing total. And we've heard many times teams all over the world, be it military or civilian, mention how chasing has become almost the in vogue thing. Knowing that total to aim at, and knowing the run rate as well. If you look at the recent Test retirement, Virat Kohli and his exploits in white ball cricket, and how much he enjoys chasing, and so many players around the world do too. So the RAF perhaps won't be too unhappy, certainly not with this start, but also with the fact that they'll be chasing a score in a fast outfield. James, that's a lovely flick off his legs, James. And it goes over that boundary rope, and a release of a little bit of pressure there. A nice way for him to get off the mark. Yeah, Denzel James, very versatile player with batting and bowling. And a cool head on his shoulders as well. So it comes in once more. Bowls and just drifting a little onto the pads there, but nothing to trouble the RAF. Flick straight to Burdekin at mid-on. Again, once more. Sutcliffe, of course, keeper up to the stumps, and much a carbon copy of the previous delivery there. And Hawk and his fellow bowlers keeping things tight. Well stopped there in the end by Sutcliffe. And you notice that bounce in the RAF fielders as they move around between overs.
Yeah, it's quite impressive when you see the fielding, how they turn around so quickly. I mean, I was umpiring a game only last week, sort of as the Navy preparing against the Free Foresters, and it was very little time sort of between overs. They were just literally running around to make sure they make that run rate of sort of 20 overs within an hour and 15. So yeah, it's impressive to watch.
Another bowling change here for the Royal Air Force. Harry Hollingsworth with a bit of pace to come back into the attack. Ball over the wicket. The right arm pacer for the Royal Air Force. And running in now with his first delivery. A bit back of a length and easily guided off the hip by Liam Fletcher. And Denzel James just making his guard at the other end of the wicket. Lovely leg glance for four, just getting him underway. 23 for 2 into the 7th over of this match. The British Army. 50 over champions last year, but both these teams, of course, disappointed with how the T20s went. The Royal Navy victorious. Hollingsworth just going past the umpire now again. And a bit shorter that time, just cut straight to point. And no run. Be a gentleman beside me here who knows all about the Navy's strength too, and they'll be watching on in earnest today. They'll know that a lot of these players very well, of course. And Finlay Marks skippering this year too.
That's right. Finlay's first year as captain. I was chatting with him last week, and he's very much looking forward to leading the team.
There's an interesting delivery there. It's left alone by James. And not really getting up, gone past the shoulder, but a bit of tennis ball bounce there from the middle of the pitch. Yeah, Finlay Marks, interesting to hear his thoughts ahead of a busy campaign. Seeing some of the Navy boys here today as well. Yeah, what sort of things was he saying to you then?
Well, as a Marine, he's all about, I have to say, he's quite aggressive. There's no two ways about it. Him and his vice captain, and they really are into teamwork. And you know, they play hard, and there's no doubt they're going to really work it on Thursday. They really are keen to retain the trophy. There's no ifs and buts about it. They will do their very best. And looking at the cricket we're looking at now, I think it's going to be a close competition. I think there's going to be, it's going to be good to watch on Thursday.
Yeah, Liam Fletcher just playing a fairly aggressive pull shot that didn't connect there. Finlay Marks, having scored a beautiful 100 last year at Vine Lane in that 50-over competition. Good multi-format player. And that's a lovely Yorker ball by Hollingsworth.
He definitely had the imperplex there, and Liam is a quality batsman. He often gets good scores, so I suspect he'll be quite frustrated out there at the moment.
Yeah, the RAF doing well just to keep within their lines and lengths and not get too carried away by a good start. Just keep that pressure bubbling for the Army at the moment. Hollingsworth in again, and it's good length delivery. It's gone past off stump in that channel, and a bit of a swish and a miss from Fletcher.
Yeah, you can see that frustration just beginning to ease through there. He's itching to get a boundary.
Yeah, walking towards square leg there and just talking to himself a little bit, trying to compose himself. Hollingsworth just mixing it up as well, showing his variations. And slower delivery that's found its way down towards long on. Fletcher just bunting that down, and well, thought it was the second there, but was appropriately told by his partner not to do so. And the umpire hands Hollingsworth his cap. And another impressive over from the Royal Air Force. That's good stuff from them in the field so far. 26 for 2, the Army, off 7 overs. James and Fletcher having a bit of a conference in the middle of the wicket. And just got to soak up some of this pressure, you feel. Not lose any more wickets. Try and set a bit of a platform. The likes of Jay Boynton coming in afterwards can certainly hit a long ball. And very good batsman, Jay Boynton, too. His last year, you mentioned to us, playing in the T20 shirt for the Army. What a servant he's been to not just Army, but also UCAF and military cricket, Steve.
Yeah, he's had a fabulous cricket career, without a doubt. It's I have no doubt he will look back on.
And that ball's, I'll find a fielder on the boundary there. Well connected through the mid-off region. And pick up a couple, Liam Fletcher.
I was trying to persuade John to see if he would do get more involved in sort of the organisational side of the cricket.
And slog sweep out towards the boundary. It's found its way over. It's another 4, a timely 4 for the Army. Pick that ball up off the stumps. And Fletcher just trying to find his rhythm and trying to put a bit of pressure back on those light blues bowlers. Oh, and fairly hefty strike, and well, a fantastic effort there on the boundary. A one-handed effort, parried into the air and over the rope. Umpire signalling 6, and my word, that could have very easily been an outstanding effort, outstanding catch on the rope. But, Fletcher just getting the gears turning here a little bit. Tusif Ahmed bowling, and beautifully behind square there, behind point, and it rolls away for another boundary. And the Army will be delighted with this from Liam Fletcher.
Yeah, Liam is definitely scratching that itch now.
Well, it's the things you were saying, of course, about Fletcher's exuberance and his shots all around the wicket. And passed back up to Ahmed, but they'll scamper through for a single up towards long off. And Tusif Ahmed going for a few runs in this over after that tight start from the Royal Air Force. Ball coming back, just played off the back foot by James, and just the single for him. And the umpire hands Ahmed his cap. And great as well to be joined by a man at the centre of everything Royal Air Force cricket at the moment, Kieran Pearce. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's been a fairly tight start from your men so far. Just a few boundaries, of course, in that over, just releasing a bit of pressure for the Army. But I guess in a similar vein to yesterday, that spin playing a huge role at the beginning. Shorthouse and Burdekin as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tom Shorthouse is always integral to our plans with the ball, and we know what consistency he brings to bowling the power play. And then, yeah, fortunately we got Scott Burdekin into the game early, which helped with the dismissal of Graham Wiseman.
Yeah, there's a couple of wickets key to keeping that rate down as well. Liam Fletcher just, as with James on strike at the moment, just summing up a few options. He's seen off some of that early pressure. And just straying onto the pads there and calling it through quickly, the Army batsman. And no trouble in the end for Denzel James and Liam Fletcher. But pushing themselves up to 44 for 2 at the end of the 8th and into the 9th now. And we were hearing as well, Kieran, yesterday that in those matches against Hampshire seconds, just the pitch being a little tacky perhaps in parts, a bit too paced. Certainly a good bit of purchase for the spinners.
Yeah, it was like that early on in the first game. Tom Shorthouse bowled the first over, and yeah, he bowled some wides because it was turning, you know, so.
Well, another wicket for the Royal Air Force. That's going to peg the Army back even further. And Liam Fletcher it is walking back towards the pavilion. Lonely walk.
Yeah, that's a big blow.
Yeah, huge after some of that pressure he was exerting back onto the Royal Air Force there.
Yeah, Fletcher's got the ability to bat long and bat deep, and then you know really accelerate as the innings goes on. So that's a huge wicket for us. And Jack, you know, he's been a model of consistency for us, you know, throughout this season, and as a bowler and a leader has developed within our team. So yeah, that's great for him and the team right now.
And to have Adam Fisher being able to call upon so many good options, as you say, with Jack Fuller and not just the other spinners in there, but the seamers as well. Well, you've got a wealth of bowling.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. We've got, you know, 6 or 7 options really that you can utilise. We've got the kind of 3 or 4 that we would hopefully bank on to have 4 overs each, and then yeah, it's great for Fish to have those options should something not go to plan, which inevitably in T20 cricket that does happen. So yeah, just hopefully we can continue in the same vein we have so far.
Oh, it's been interesting to see how this pitch has played so far, and maybe a quick outfield, but apart from some of those strikes from Liam Fletcher, the batsmen haven't found it easy going at all, as the new man Cowdell is in to face Fuller for his first delivery and just turned around the corner there off his pads rather nicely and takes a run. Cowdell, one of the newcomers, a tall batsman in this Army side, and was saying to us yesterday just how excited he's been to get going, and he knows the strength, of course, of his opponents in the Royal Air Force. And I guess another thing, Kieran, is the strength of leadership as well in that side. Adam Fisher, we know how he's played through the years, and to have Tom Shorthouse, who of course was captaining last year, on his shoulder, well, that's a lovely thing to have too.
Yeah, you've also got Ross Diver, who's got his 50th cap today, who's been around for a long time. Sutty, the wicketkeeper, Adam Sutcliffe, is the UCAF keeper and has been around for 5-6 years. So there's a wealth of experience as the kind of core leadership group that they have within the team. And then Adam, as the captain and leader, can call on them, as he chooses, really.
Yeah, Cardell facing. And, playing that off his legs once again. Enjoys playing into the leg side. And has been busy so far at the crease. Those balls away.
I think on a leadership front as well, we've had an ageing squad for a few years, and we need to look at the future of Air Force cricket and the next kind of generation of leaders. So we've always got plans in place and have utilised other options when Fish hasn't been available this year to try and grow our pool of captains for the future.
Yeah, as he was mentioning yesterday, the momentum you've been able to have in early season, in which we've been blessed with plenty of sunshine, and that's of course helped get most of those fixtures in, really, and you've been in good form. Yeah,
we won, I think, at the first 7 we had 6 wins and a tie, where we hit 6 off a last ball to tie, which was a good game to be for lads to be involved in. Yeah, we lost, I think, three of the final 6 towards the back end, but we play some strong sides. That's to be expected. But overall, as a build-up towards the Inter Services, I couldn't have asked for any more from them, to be fair. And everyone that's on that pitch is there by merit and their performances in the warm-up games.
Yeah, James on strike once again. Flicking that round the corner, but only as far as Diver. Yeah, great day for the strong opening batsman. RAF stalwart, UCAF as well, Ross Diver. Fantastic longevity as well, to get 50 caps for your service. And Adam Fisher as well, Kieran, becoming the joint most capped, I believe, Royal Air Force player.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. He moves on to 51, joint with Ash Watson and Glenlum, and then hopefully, injury permitting, we'll take the most caps recognition on Thursday.
This is good play by the RAF. Their bowling is tight, their fielding is tight, and you can see a spring in the step. It's you definitely get a feel that the Army are on the back foot at the moment.
Yeah, we've bowled really well. We always talk about where's their boundary options, and I feel like at the moment we're bowling to the plans that we've talked about, and creating that pressure and limiting those boundary options, and the score currently reflects that.
And being able to push those fielders out, of course, far enough into the innings now, where they're able to plug those gaps on the boundary for Fletcher and James, and now Cardell as well. And what a brilliant thing, Steve. A great reflection, of course, of the quality of UCAF cricket as a whole, and some of the Royal Navy team, as we mentioned here, to watch a bit of it as well, as Fuller runs in over the wicket again, just a little bit back of a length. And James pushes that out into the deep. Looking for 2 here, and they should get back okay, which they do. Just looking to rotate the strike as much as they can. And Fuller, a canny spinner. He knows his options here as well, with Adam Fisher not far off. It's tight from him once more.
Yeah, you're right about the Navy squad being, or some of the Navy squad being here. I can see Chief Nick Brooks and Lieutenant Commander Daisy Adams over towards the pavilion, clearly watching what's going on and hopefully forming some tactics for Thursday.
James just using his feet, advancing down the wicket and trying to hammer that ball, but only as far as Tom Shorthouse on the boundary. He knows, though, if he can play himself in, he'll look to exploit those boundaries with those powerful levers of his. And Cowdell just rotating the strike as well. Fuller won't be unhappy though with that. The RAF in good voice here. Losing the toss, maybe not a bad one to lose. Fuller in once more, and just
no, thus far I think we'd have taken, you know, the score and the wickets at this stage. I think we probably would have batted first as well, if we're honest. But you know, that's an opportunity for our bowlers, and then if we can keep them to a relatively low score or a below par score, then kind of we control the game from there. So yeah, it's not the worst toss to lose, I guess, in this situation.
No, I agree with Kieran. I think I would quite be happy if I was in the RAF position right now.
Plenty of energy there, as we've come to know over the past year or two from Jack Fuller. Just sprinting through at the end of the over there as well. Harry Hollingsworth handing his cap to the umpire and bowling in a good spell at the moment. Tusif Ahmed just going for a few runs in between. But in general, it's been pretty good from the Royal Air Force. 52 for 3 off their 11 overs, the Army, in this opening T20 of the tournament. As Hollingsworth runs in again. And just a bit wide that time, and signalled so by the umpire.
Yeah, that was a bit loose. He'll be a bit disappointed with that one.
Yeah, Harry's quite useful for us because he's a bit quicker than our other seamers, so he's a little bit of a point of difference. Hits the bat quite hard, and when he gets it right, as he did last year at Lords, he bowled very well against the Navy. That's a good shot there from the number 5. It's gone for 4. Yeah, Harry, when he gets it right, is a real point of difference for us, because especially on the better wickets, the first class wickets we get at Lords, he just hits the bat a little bit harder, which is an asset for us, like I say, in comparison to some of the other seamers, like myself previously, shall I say, that
left arm, of course.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, just straying a bit this over so far. That's onto the pads again, a little too straight and put away well by Cowdell. Yeah, those first-class wickets, as you say, with the extra pace, extra bit of carry. But of course does well not to get carried away by them either. He's in on his line of length there once more, and the Army take a quick single.
That's good from Harry there. He's bowled a wide, he's bowled a 4, and then he's straight back onto line of length and puts a bit of pressure on them. And yeah, they've got a run. That's good running from the Army, but that's good from Harry just to come back after a poor 2 balls previously.
Yeah, the pressure is on the Army now for sure.
Yeah, they've got to work out there what a good score is, and obviously play accordingly to get to that score. So yeah, there's quite a bit of pressure on these two to rotate the strike and get them to what they perceive to be as I guess a minimum of a par score for them.
And James has been keen to use his feet, as he did so once again there, and just the single this time, but looking to go downtown at some point, you feel. A powerful batsman, and with that rotation of strike as well, of course, you get that maybe a bit of frustration when you're a bowler and you're trying to hone in on that line of length. You've got batsmen of different statures as well, different styles, accessing different areas of the outfield. That's a lovely shot again, and that'll go over the boundary rope once more. Similar to earlier in the over. Lovely from Cowdell. And a welcome boundary for the British Army. Yeah, we've seen where he likes to score a lot of runs through the leg side. Hollingsworth running in past the umpire. And he may have got a tickle on that, just having to hurry back Denzel James at the other end. But no concerns ultimately.
If you watch Adam Fisher, he's meticulous in his plans and what he's trying to achieve. Every player is placed in that specific position for a reason. There's no kind of you go there to save time. It's all meticulously planned and well thought through.
Nice as well, I'm sure, Kieran, to have been in and amongst the Hampshire lads yesterday, and of course playing them in that match first up yesterday, and maybe getting a chance for the players to have a bit of a chat with their opposite numbers and see the style of the way they go about certain things too. Yeah, I mean,
they're professional cricketers, and that showed. But there's a lot, our lads can learn from them, whether that's where they train, even the way they eat, and on the field. Yeah, it's great for our lads to be able to, face two professional opening bowlers. Chris Wood, who opened for them yesterday, I guess got 300 first-class wickets, so... and then I can't remember his first name, but Curry, the other opening bowlers, played first-class cricket. I think 5 of them are going to play in the Blast, is the rumour for Hampshire. So it's a great experience at a great ground, and one, service cricket is as well as playing at Lords. It's a privilege to come down here, and kind of thanks to Hampshire for having us. And hopefully, the lads will learn something from it and just strive to improve, really.
Burdigan back into the attack, and a full delivery here, but dipping down and getting Cowdell very close to midships, it seems, but just clutching his torso a bit there. There was an appeal of sorts for LBW, but
it was actually borderline no ball, so it was interesting how that could have gone.
Yeah, it came out, slipped out, it seems.
I don't think there could have been any complaints if it was given a no ball, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Burdigan back of a length this time, getting that turn as well. You can see it settling back into his line and length. Yeah, just as well a pat of appreciation for the batsman there, Cowdell. I think everything's fine as well with him. No major concerns of pain or anything. It's very short and picked up by James, and just bouncing once right towards the man on the boundary.
Yeah, that was very short. I could imagine the batsman, when he struck that, his heart went to his stomach when he saw there was a fielding direct line there. Yeah, that was just short.
It did well almost to pick it up. Short but stay low. That's a little fuller this time, but pulled once more out into the deep. And they take just a single, the Army batsman.
So I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but Scott, who's bowling here, played 5-6 years ago for the RAF. He's been sunning himself in Cyprus for 3 years, and kind of big shout out to him, really, the commitment he's shown. He flies back from Cyprus every week to play, so he gets the trooper back and then Civ Air flight, and spends the week over here and goes back to his family in the weekends in Cyprus.
That is a commitment.
That's what we want to see. That's the dedication level set, really, isn't it? That's brilliant.
I'm not sure his wife would say that, but yeah, that's it's good for us.
I was going to ask how much cricket he's getting out there in Cyprus, but he's flying home nevertheless, so it's maybe a moot point.
well, he actually plays for the Cypriot national team. He's played a lot of like T10, T20s out there between all the leagues. It's growing in Europe in general, and especially in Cyprus. And yeah, he's actually been travelling around Europe playing for Cyprus, so he's getting a lot of cricket in during his tour.
Just getting a bit of water there, Denzel James, and batsmen take a moment to have a breather. And I guess a word as well for the powers that be in releasing all these players to be able to play inter-service cricket, to be able to play against county sides and play against university sides and get them, to training and everything as well, and releasing them for these fixtures. It's a big show of support from the military, and it's a big commitment too.
It is. It's not always easy. I know certainly from the Navy, but I imagine it's the same with the Air Force and the Army, that there is gapping, and releasing people to do sport is not always that easy. So we thank the command where they can.
James trying to power Tusif Ahmed to the boundary, just a single this time. The Army 70 for 3 off their 13 overs. That ball just a little straight, not quite connected Or not quite connecting with it, Denzel James, but took the single. Ball cut into the offside, and batsman cross once more. And in good voice, the RAF fielders in the sunshine, in the warm temperatures, keeping themselves mobile and energetic. Oh, and that's been smoked by James just over the head of the man at long on, Tom Shorthouse there. And another 6 for the British Army.
Yeah, a full toss there. I think it was duly punished.
Yeah, Tusi's got to, he's really got to concentrate now. He didn't have the best first over, if we can be honest. He's just bowled a pretty poor full toss that's gone for 6, and he just needs to try and get out the over with kind of minimal damage, and just really concentrate on what he's doing. And if your good balls get hit for 4-6, then that's fair enough. But you can't get away with bowling that at this level, and he'll know that.
Finds the wicket this time, this ball, and just a single there, but perhaps sweaty palms out there a little bit. Just a few balls. I've seen a few full tosses in the last couple of overs. A few balls perhaps just slipping out of the grip as the bowlers approach the crease. A little deft touch there.
But there's no doubt it's the Army who are under pressure now.
Yeah, they've got to work out what they feel is a good score, and probably take appropriate risks at this point, leading into the back end of the innings.
Michael Caldwell and Cowdell on strike. Moved into the leg side. And they're rotating the strike, these two, but they're wanting to just push that score up a little quicker at this stage.
Yep, you can imagine the conversation they're having now. So, we've got wickets in hand, and 6 overs or so to go, so they'll be pushing.
Yeah, Fuller with ball in hand. Oh, he's quickly to his mark, isn't he, Jack Fuller? Ready to go.
His little legs run into the mark, little Fred Flintstone legs.
He's ready to go even when the players are still moving through between overs.
I think the RAF have really got to kind of concentrate now. This could be the difference between keeping them to an under par score and stopping the game getting away from the Army.
A lovely shot there. A reverse paddle from Cowdell. And it was a certain boundary from the moment it left the bat. But yeah, these two just looking to build a partnership and get themselves a platform heading towards those final 4 or 5 overs. Jay Boynton still to come. A nice use of the wrist there from Cowdell. Just flicking that onto the onside.
That's really good from Harry. It's at the ball, one-handed pickup to put the doubt in the batsman's mind, and then a fast throw in wasn't necessarily the best throw, but it put some doubt in the batsman's mind as to take it, and even for next time they'll think, oh, we can't take 2 to Harry because he gets the ball and releases it quickly.
Yeah, good feeling today.
Fuller in once more. Oh, and James connecting with that one, but only as far as Ross Diver. Another wicket for the Royal Air Force, caught by the man on the boundary. And he got some air, but not quite enough to go over the man on the ropes. And another timely wicket for the Royal Air Force, Kieran.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wicket's great at any time, but it's Denzel is very dangerous towards the latter end of the innings, especially hitting straight. So that's huge for us. And any new batsman in an inter-service fixture will always want a couple of balls to find their feet. So it hopefully just slows the scoring down, even more.
Yeah, Jay Boynton making his way onto the pitch. This is final week, he tells us, of T20 cricket for the Army.
Yeah, what a servant he's been for the Army, by the way. Record caps, I think, across all 3 services. So, big shout out to Jay for the career he's had, and a really good bloke as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, agreed.
And what a luxury as well if you're one of those players relatively young or new to the side. Cowdell just patting his gloves there. Well, what a luxury to have the likes of Jay Boynton and players with that experience level to be able to mentor you coming through. And Stavon Gabriel as well, another new player for the Army, just saying how much he loves playing under Jay's captaincy. How positive he is, how welcoming he's been, and how much he's learning from him as well. And that's absolutely brilliant to hear.
Yeah, fiercely competitive player. It'll be interesting to see how he plays himself in, because he knows that, you know, without a doubt, the Army are on the back foot here.
But Jay's seen and done it before. When I've played, we've been in similar situations, and he's come out and scored 40 off 20 in no time with his famous kind of sweeps and slug sweeps. So, and there we go, off the mark straight away. So yeah, this won't faze him. He's delivered for the Army time and time again, and you know, more often than not.
Yeah, quality player.
A bit of a gift for him first up there. Not quite. He's just repeating the shot. Not quite getting hold of it as he would have liked, but nevertheless, he's off the mark. No matter how much experience you have, getting off the mark is always a nice feeling. Fuller moving in once again over the wicket. Cowdell just using his wrists again there, liking to move that ball from outside off into the leg side.
Yeah, it was a bit of a stab of a shot. He wasn't quite sure how to play it. It was cleverly bowled.
Yeah, ball perhaps just sticking up a little in that wicket. A bit of turn that we've mentioned and a bit of purchase for the spinners, and not perhaps so easy to hit through the line. As maybe evidenced by that Denzel James shot.
Yeah, it could be hard with Jack because he's 4'5".
And a massive appeal there for LBW. And umpire. Well,
he certainly gave it some thought.
He gave it plenty of thought there, the umpire. Jay Boynton. His heart might have been in his mouth for a split second there, but keeping the pressure on Fuller.
Yeah, good over at this stage. You know, minimal runs. I don't think that was a boundary from memory. So, you know, for the Air Force at this stage, that's a tremendous over wicket and minimal runs.
Yeah, very good spell from Fuller. And Shorthouse coming back into the attack. Another vastly experienced player across the services.
Yeah, potentially Tom's last year. We're still trying to, you know, get him to sign on, as we say, and take a contract extension. But yeah, currently it's his last year. He's been an unbelievable kind of player for the Air Force. Carried the weight of the world on his shoulders at some points. But you know, bat ball and fielding. Whilst that wasn't a great ball and a good shot from the Army number 5, you know, Tom has been unbelievable for us, and the statistics show that. Obviously, 4 years as captain, where you know his leadership really developed over those 4 years. And if he does leave, I wish him all the best. But hopefully, you know, he can stay in the service.
He was transferred to the Navy.
Yeah, again, good attacking intent here from Cowdell. 92 for 4 into the 16th over of the match. And that first shot of the over.
That'd be a scary proposition, him and Ben Johnson. You know, in a top 3 of a.
That would be a top team.
Yeah.
Telling me you wouldn't fancy bowling against them?
Not even when I was half decent, let alone now.
Yeah, but Ben was knocking him out of the ground on Thursday.
100 off 50 balls, I heard. Is that about right?
Yeah, he's a formidable batsman when he gets his eye in.
Yeah, nice shot into the deep there. Just a single this time for Boynton.
But again, that's the value of attacking the ball. So he may have fumbled it, but got to the ball quickly, which made the batter think twice about running.
Good fielding.
This player as well, Kieran, who's played so recently in this tournament, and for the Royal Air Force, just put into words how much excitement you always had at the beginning of these weeks.
Yeah, it literally is the best week of the cricketing year, because you spend more time together as opposed to the odd day or the 2-day not every night. We've been at service accommodation this week, but you know, you just spend time with your friends, really, and then you know, you can develop some of the other players, the newer players come through, help them with their experience of how to handle the tournament or playing at Lords themselves. And then obviously on the day, yeah, it's just the most kind of magical experience to play there when international cricketers haven't played there, or some really good, you know, professionals.
Yeah, for those listeners who are interested in cricket, I would certainly strongly urge them to contact their PTI or go through their command and give cricket a go. It's a fantastic team sport, but it also gives people the opportunity to shine as individuals as well. So it's one of those fabulous sports where you may seem it's relaxed, but actually it's far from, and the camaraderie and the competitiveness are hard to beat.
End of another over, and a boundary in there for the Army, but RAF will be delighted, I imagine, Kieran, at this phase. Just 4 overs to go.
Yeah, currently this would have been kind of beyond our wildest dreams, to be honest. The Army are always dangerous, especially with, you know, Graham Wiseman at the top, who, you know, as recently as 6 weeks ago scored a 40-ball 100 for Kafka in India. So
yeah, Wiseman and Fletcher are 2 top batsmen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from the RAF so far. 95 for 4 at the Army after 16 overs. Just 4 to go in this innings after winning the toss. Jay Boynton and the man himself on strike, Harry Hollingsworth.
And I would have thought par for this ground would be 140, 150.
Yeah, as a minimum, especially with the fast outfield. I'm sure Hampshire would want more as and when they play here. But yeah, for service cricket, you know, kind of 150, 160, I'd say, yeah. And that's challenging, especially when you're chasing, you know, 8 and over for club cricketers. Let's say, you know, that's difficult, and the longer the innings goes on, once it gets up to 8, 9, 10s, that does become difficult. So yeah, 150, 160, you're right in the game as a.
That's it. Yeah, the 160 is certainly the stretch. But God, it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds.
Hollingsworth in once more. Oh, it's a nice shot. Trying to pierce that gap. That's very well fielded.
Very well fielded.
Lovely stuff on the boundary there. Appreciation there from the bowler too.
And what's impressive about that is he's a wicketkeeper. We've got 2 very good wicketkeepers, and you know, Adam Fish had to make a decision on who he was going to keep, which is hard luck on Sam. But that's the value of having athletic, you know.
He's got a dive in.
Yeah, absolutely.
His first T20 appearance as well, Sam Murby. Hollingsworth again. And opening the face, that's a beautiful shot. And it hits the fence on the way as well. It's lovely from Boynton, just opening his shoulders, opening the face, powering that fairly square to the rope.
Yeah, we've just got to be disciplined here. You know, it's a key 4 overs. As I said previously, just hit your skills. Don't give them any freebies. If they hit you good balls, that's fair enough. They're entitled to do it. But if we can just you know, minimise those poor balls, then hopefully we can close the innings out.
Boynton looking around the field, assessing his options. Eyes widening, you'd imagine, after some of those boundary shots. Reaches him on the full again. This time just bunted out into the onside. Yeah, not quite connecting there, Boynton.
He's sporting a bit of a limp there.
I wouldn't worry about it with Harry. He's always got something wrong with him.
Just
if he gets a wicket at this ball, that's gone.
yeah, players in the warmer conditions just keeping themselves supple. And Hollingsworth ready to go once again. Short and flicked round the corner off his hip, Cowdell, but just a single. Hampshire's rotated his strike bowlers and his full attack rather nicely today in the sunshine. Wingsworth having bowled from both ends.
Yeah, he's mixed it up well, hasn't he? He's tried to keep the Army batsmen on their toes and just keep them guessing.
Ah, and that's
That's
it.
a big hit.
A lusty blow from Boynton. Another 6 for the Army skipper. And picked up from back of a length. And hammered over deep backward square for a maximum at the end of the over.
Yeah, good shot from Jay there. Length ball that, that's right in his arc. That's his strong area, so hopefully the remaining bowlers can learn from that and realise where not to bowl to him and look at, ways of keeping him to hopefully 1 and under.
3 overs to go, 111 for 4 of the Army.
As you say, Kieran is a quality player.
What can they get up to here, the red shirts, from this position? Put under pressure by the light blues throughout the innings, and, taking wickets at fairly regular intervals as well, the RAF.
Yeah, I think the Army might be a little bit disappointed in the sense that they're only 4 down. So whilst they're on 101, is it? So
Yeah, 111 now, I think.
Is it 111? Okay, so they might just feel like they might wish to win a little bit more if they were only 4 down after 17 overs.
John Hook back into the attack. And it's fairly wide, cut away, but only to point, and an opportunity here for a run-out, which should be fairly straightforward. And a complete mix-up by the Army batsman in the middle, taken advantage of by the bowler himself, whipping off those bails. And we mentioned wickets at regular intervals. There goes another one for the Army. It's Cowdell. And a bit of frustration there as he starts the fairly lonely walk back towards the steps.
Poor communication there, without a doubt. That wasn't even close, was it? It was a very easy run out.
It's really a bit of good work from John Hawke there. The throw probably wasn't the best from Jack Fuller, and landing not far short of his feet. So, really good take under pressure and good composure from John there.
There can't have been too many easier opportunities for John Hawke in run-out chances.
And also importantly, a dot ball at this stage is also priceless.
Yes.
32 for Michael Cowdell. Played his part in pushing his side over 100 runs so far. But a good bit of work for the Army to do, you feel, if they're to post something competitive. The quick outfield and top order and middle order, in fact, of the Royal Air Force with plenty of punch.
So will you be in the media centre up high on Thursday?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it greatly. Huge day on Thursday. 3 matches, all live, BFBS Forces News YouTube channel. And for those of you watching it, great to have your company today. That ball's fairly short from Hawke and easily pulled around the corner. And up the bank it goes. But yeah, Thursday we start off, of course, with the UCAF women taking on MCC. The loser of this match playing defending champions Royal Navy. And then the Royal Navy taking on today's winner as the tournament comes to an end. And fantastic at the home of cricket. Up in the media centre, we'll have coverage through the day. We'll also have plenty of great interviews, special guests, the charities involved, those people who've come to be part of the whole festival of cricket, as they say as well, Steve. Not quite connecting there, but yeah, what a mouth-watering prospect we have in store.
You see, I'm feeling that Jay's moving into windmill mode now.
Again, keeping that very full, almost Yorker length, but an opportunity here again. Not quite gathered by Fisher.
That's well bowled. That's that's good death bowling here from John. So he's executed his skills exceptionally well.
Seems a very level-headed character as well, Kieran. John Hawke, just chatting to him yesterday, and fairly consistent with his bowling.
Yeah, for the past kind of 3 to 4 years, he's been kind of the mainstay, really. He's a banker. You know where he's going to bowl. He's very consistent. And as you say, he's very level-headed. He knows his game inside out, and a real asset for us.
Ryan, the new batsman, on strike to Hawke. Oh, and going for a big shot there. And fielder running in to try and make it. That'd be a beautiful diving catch, but not quite in the end. And Ryan scampers back for the second. Well, just lofted up towards that long off boundary. That would have been lovely. I think Murby down there.
That would have been a really tough catch, because of course it did go high, and that would have been right in the sun.
Oh, nicked and heading towards the sight screen. Well, they all count for the Army. Not as he would have intended, Narayan, but nevertheless, finds the edge and finds the rope.
Just got to be careful here, the Air Force. You know, Spice is a very dangerous player at this stage innings. Is like Jay has been there, kind of done it, and can easily hit, clear the rope.
Lovely cut shot there from him. Just a single this time, though. Only trying to go through the gears here as the over concludes. And, going for a few there, John Hawke. 124 for 5, the Army, after 18 overs. Winning the toss here at the Nursery ground. Utilita ball in Hampshire. Wonderful place to come and watch cricket. And great to have you all joining us as well on Forces News YouTube channel.
It's a fabulous setup here, isn't it, with the ground, the nursery ground, the golf course, the hotel in the stadium. Yeah, it's a really tremendous kind of place to come.
Another over for number 4. Jack Fuller back on. This could be very interesting. Last couple of overs here as the Army look to bolster their score. And hit powerfully down towards Ross Diver. Long off.
Yeah, that was well bowled. That's under a lot of pressure, and line and length was good. Make it very difficult for the batsman to do really much with it.
Now the turn of Boynton. 23 not out. Looking to lead from the front here for his Army side. Fuller gets ready to go again, comes past the umpire. Oh, and just checking there the footwork of Boynton. And dead ball just having a little look, seeing what the opposition captain is up to, and they go again. That's a nice set.
It's well bowled from Jack.
Nice delivery again from Fuller. Gathers the ball on the return. Punched in from the boundary's edge.
It's never easy when you're swapping sides against a left and a right-hander. So let's just see how this goes.
Ball striking the pad, but a leg by it'll be. Around the corner.
That's really good from Jack. He saw him come in, he changed his length, he reacted to what the batsman was doing, and limiting the scoring opportunities for him.
Can he do? Jay Boynton on strike. And the ball coming through a little bit slower there. Nice variation from Jack Fuller. Just holding the ball back. We've seen many times through the years in T20, especially as the years have gone on, and the importance of taking pace off that ball. Jeremy Snape back in the day I could think of as...
Yeah, good discipline.
Yeah.
The moon ball from Jeremy Snape.
Absolutely. That's short this time, and oh, that's nice. And a good angle to be found there. And another boundary.
Too soon there. That was a bit too short, wasn't it?
Yeah, he got that one slightly wrong. He bowled really, really well up until that point. I can see what he was trying to do. Spice was charging him, so he thought he'd drop it slightly shorter to put him off, but didn't quite execute it as he would have wanted.
bit of a change in the field is Murby coming a little off the rope. Adam Fisher moving his troops around. Oh, a little quicker this time, and it looks like a stumping.
This is
a
great.
successful stumping. A wonderful bit of work there from Sutcliffe. Fantastic bowling from Jack Fuller. Well, we've been mentioning his variations in line and length as well as pace, and it paid off there.
Yeah, this is really good cricket by the RAF.
Yeah, saw him come in, bowled the quicker one, and then, you know, really smart work from Adam Sutcliffe behind the stumps.
Yeah, very sharp wicket keeping there. He's been up to the stumps quite a bit today, not just for the spinners, but some of the pacemen too. And quick hands. Very, very nice work indeed. And, the fall of the 6th wicket for the Army.
So 1 over to go then.
Just 1 over to go, and Stephen Gabriel, very exciting young cricketer from St. Lucia. He's been talking about how excited he's been to get going today, playing in his Inter Services. Bit of pace with the ball. A good batsman too, an important all-rounder for the Army. There's not long to get himself in here though, of course. 132 for 6. The Army with this final over, and Tom Shorthouse to bowl against his former opposite number, Army skipper Jay Boynton. Gabriel just trying to evade that ball, getting maybe a little bit of a stinger on the forearm, but he seems all right.
Yeah, it was our first look at Gabriel yesterday. Few new faces in the Army set up this year. He does seem to bowl with a little bit of pace, which is good for service cricket in general. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he goes with bat and ball.
Shorthouse coming around the wicket to Gabriel. Oh, and a fantastic strike by the St. Lucian man. Brilliant stuff there. New to the crease. Doesn't bother him. Hunting for 6s in the final stages of this Army innings.
That's a very Caribbean style. So full-on hit.
Beautiful bit of timing over long on there.
That's his first ball in inter-service cricket that he's just hit for 6.
Which other way would you want to play? He's been wanting to maybe take some tips as well from the Bazball boys. Put Shorthouse under pressure, but he's come across this many times before himself. And a wonderful show here. Experience against youth.
That's well bowled from Tom, that. Just dragged him wider. You know, realised quite quickly that's probably going to be a strong area for him on the balance of probabilities, and then yeah, just bowled it a bit wider and got a better result for it.
Great cricketing brain, Tom Shorthouse. Wonderful, and using that brain to its full potential. And Boynton bowled as the Army innings comes very close to an end. I'll be disappointed with that. Just advancing a little, Boynton, losing his shape there. The ball going through and rattling those stumps. Yeah, you can see when you're chatting to Tom Shorthouse, he's always thinking about things, isn't he? He's always summing up the state of play and the situation. And
yeah, he's a great thinking cricketer. You know, hence why he's an ex-RAF captain. Captained his club side for many years. You know, he knows what he's doing at this stage, and has proven by getting the key wicket at Jay Boynton at that time.
Another experienced man, Ross Dearden, coming into bat. Very little time to make an impact, but
yes, a very aggressive player. I don't think he'll make time to play himself in.
very, very useful all-rounder as well, Ross Dearden.
Yeah, Absolutely. I think he's second on the list of Army caps now. So he's been after Jay, and so he's been around and a real kind of key figure for the Army in the past kind of decade.
Short house into him now, and that ball just goes straight up, and Sutcliffe going back. Fairly easy catch for him. Another wicket goes down. First bowler for Dearden.
Yeah, you could see his tactic was straight into whack mode and miss-hit that one straight up in the air.
Coming out with a feeling that he had no other option really, Ross Dearden. And Army, as they've been under pressure throughout this innings so far, well, telling once again, the Royal Air Force just keeping clamps on that score.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it's great momentum for the Air Force going into the batting period, and if Tom Shorthouse can get an inter-service hat-trick now with one more, you've got to be good to get an inter-service hat-trick. So yeah.
Jake Benson, tall spinner. How important will he be for the Army in the next phase of this game? Walking into bat, number 44 in his shirt. He's doing quite a bit of batting yesterday in the nets as well. How much will that tell the end of this innings? That's good from Shorthouse once again, not really giving Benson any room. And that ball coming through to Sutcliffe, and will he get there in time? I think he's... the innings has come to an end anyway. Fantastic stuff from the Royal Air Force. Really tight bowling display from them. A couple of overs which went for a few boundaries, but to be expected in T20. And Kieran, that's a good showing from your men in the field.
Yeah, overall, absolutely tremendous performance. I think at the start we probably would have taken that. So we can't really ask much more from the lads. Real kind of disciplined, skilled performance there, and hopefully that we've kept them to a score that we can go and knock off and win.
Yeah, Kieran, I think if you were offered this at the beginning of the game, you'd be quite happy with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back for that Royal Air Force innings. And the Army looking to come out and respond in the field. They've got plenty of threats of their own, of course, across their bowling unit. So we'll be right back in just a second, and we look forward to joining you very shortly.
For the Royal Navy, this is the first carrier-led global deployment since 2021. We went on board as HMS Prince of Wales got ready to go.
Students, stand by for rapid decompression in 3, 2, 1, now.
We're told Dragonfire can hit something the size of a £1 coin from a distance of just 1 kilometre.
Now they're focusing on their own drills, building up those soldiering skills ahead of that deployment to Africa.
We're in the front seat of a Jupiter HT1.
The modern helicopter offers a digitalised cockpit with an intelligent monitoring system.
But the recruits are learning from the best, and they will one day soon become the best.
Do tea cakes explode at altitude? I've come to the RAF Centre for Aerospace Medicine to find out.
You're here to learn to lead soldiers, so I think I'm quite excited to get on to the next bit. Having the opportunity to actually do your job, to actually make a difference, then I don't know what more you could want.
Welcome back to the middle here at Utilita Bowl, and I'm joined by a name and a face that's probably familiar to many people who have followed cricket for years. Tim Tremlett, who is the match day manager here now at Hampshire Cricket. And Tim, like I said, a familiar name and face to many, I'm sure, but just tell us how many years of service you've given to Hampshire Cricket.
Well, I first played for the second 11 in 1973. So that's just over 50 years, and joined the staff full-time in 1975. Back in 73, I can remember playing against the Army at Aldershot, when a certain Andy Roberts was playing and he was on trial for Hampshire. So I've been extremely lucky and still to be involved with the club.
And you've not only played at Aldershot, you've also done the trifecta, you've done Vine Lane and you've played at Burnaby Road as well. Very familiar to these players as well, but how were they as cricket grounds?
No, they all had their own individual characteristics. Vine Lane was probably a little bit older and, compared to the United Services ground at Burnaby Road, which was also used for rugby, which is still used for rugby. And we probably haven't played there since probably 1993, 1994. But there was lots of space, big dressing rooms, plenty of space with a lot of untidy cricketers with cricket bags all over the place. But a really good cricket pitch, because it was enough in it for the quick bowlers, a bit of bounce, but also when the sun came out like today, it was also a very good batting track as well.
And what led to the decision? I know that Frank Greenwood Paul Frank Greenwood, as we know him, had a lot to say in coming to Hampshire and seeing whether you could host an Inter Services, and it's a brilliant venue. Even the Nursery ground is first class. But what were the sort of planning and what prompted you to agree to do it?
It's been, well, I suppose Frank approached me for the first time probably 3 or 4 years ago after COVID. And I'm glad that everything has worked out. As I say, we've had a long association with the armed forces over a long period of time. Back in, I think it was 2003, we actually used Aldershot, or we recommended that the ECB, ICC used Aldershot as part of the preparations for the ICC Champions Trophy. So we're pleased, delighted that it's all worked out. Obviously the weather helps. It's a beautiful day today. We've got a good match in progress, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Maybe the Army haven't quite got enough runs on. It's a good pitch, so but it's nice to have the involvement. We've got good relations, as I say, with the United Services ground and Portsmouth, and lots of Army camps in and around Winchester and up to Aldershot.
I don't want to put you on the spot, and I know that you're sort of, your match day manager doesn't necessarily say that you can promise this, but do you think this is a relationship that can continue? Is there a contract that's signed? It would just be nice that this one-off match, could be here for years to come, maybe.
I'd like to think so. As I say, I'm not involved in those decisions really anymore, and I'm only here really to assist on a day like today. But I'd certainly be, from my own point of view, hopefully it will take place in future years, and I'm also hopeful that with the Lord's final as well, then I think if it can be incorporated as close to that fixture as possible, then that can only be a good thing. And
you've obviously played against military sides, you've seen a few players. What do you think the standard's like? I mean, we're worried the Army may not have enough. You think 200 is probably par for this pitch, but are you impressed with the standard that you've seen across the military cricket?
Very much so. There's always players in every one of the services who tend to stand out. So across the board, I think the Army, whether it's the Army batsmen or the RAF spin bowlers, there's always somebody who will catch the eye. And over the years, that's always been the case. I think it very much, obviously there's a lot going on around the world at the moment, but it depends on how players are deployed across the world playing on service, and so the teams might not necessarily always get out their best side, but nonetheless they're always well prepared, well coached, you expect well disciplined, and they play some very good cricket.
And finally, here now it's called Utilita Bowl. Obviously it's been on many names, Rose Bowl I think familiar to many as well, but looking forward to a big summer here, both domestically and internationally.
Yes, we've got Hampshire are already 6 matches into their championship programme. We start with a match against Sussex, 4-day game starting this Friday. But then the first of the T20 matches start on the 30th of May against Essex. And then we've got an international against the West Indies here on the Tuesday, the 10th of June. So it's an action-packed programme. We've got an international women's match in mid-July, and then another T20 international against South Africa in September. So with the 100 coming along in August. It's the ground endless, and the groundsmen are kept extremely busy. Yeah.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for talking to us, and thanks again on behalf of all of us for making sure that this fixture could go ahead here in Hampshire. Tim Tremlett, and we'll throw now back to Cy Hunter for the second innings here.
Welcome back to the RAF against the Army in this opening fixture of the men's Inter Service T20 competition. Utilita Bowl Nursery ground the venue, bathed in sunshine through the day. Wonderful blue skies that greeted us this morning have stayed so far, which is fantastic news. And 142 for 8. And the Royal Air Force, you feel, would be fairly happy so far with their bowling performance, keeping things tight, not just through their spinners, but their seam bowling performing as well. And just moments away from the Royal Air Force innings. Army bowlers there just coming back in after a little bit of a warm-up on that parched outfield. And an outfield that has been very quick so far, which is why many of us this morning thought that conditions were beautiful for batting. The Army winning the toss and batting first, but just being pegged back a little. And as we look ahead to play resuming, it's an absolute delight to welcome to commentary duties today Richard Isaacs, a man who knows everything there is to know about the stats of these teams, military cricket itself, and the quality just of this competition too. Richard, welcome along. It's great to have you, and thank you very much for joining us.
Well, good afternoon, and it's a pleasure to be here as well. What a fantastic day for it as well. It's a real joy to be here, and between two very, very good sides, and you kind of always feel that this is the crux fixture, if you like. Obviously, the Navy won it last year, and it was a little bit of a surprise. Everyone kind of always thinks this is the crux fixture. 142 on the board is actually quite a decent score, but with that short boundary, is it going to be enough? Will be interesting to see if it is enough or not.
What have you made of that wicket? Because there were some comments yesterday that it was playing up a little, you know, some keeping low today as well, and certainly the spinners getting plenty of purchase. That perhaps has made the Army's job a little bit more difficult. And as you say, at 142, well, I guess it's a cliche in cricket, isn't it? We've got to wait till both sides are batted.
142 is a decent score. On this pitch, if it is gripping and it is turning, that's going to play on to the Army's hands a little bit, because they do have a lot of spin options. And I do think that's going to be, it could be key. It could be key in this fixture when you look at the players like Poynton and Benson, and possibly Narayan as well, and Dearden. They could bowl 16 overs of spin in this innings. And if it is gripping and it is turning, they're just going to rag it square with spin, and there's no reason why they won't do that.
It makes it very exciting, not just in this game, but as you alluded to yourself, and something Adam Fisher said yesterday, that he felt that the three teams are well matched. And with that Navy victory last year, both of these teams, of course, frustrated with what happened last year. But, you know, it's a great fillip for the competition, and a great signal that the health of military cricket really is there.
Absolutely, it is. The Navy waited 10 years, 12 years for a title, and no one saw it coming. It was completely left field. You know, no one saw the Navy winning that last year. Obviously, the win they had in the opening game at Middleton, again against the Army, just really did come from nowhere, and it set the tournament up, and they deserve to win it. So you're right. You know, it has been a long time for the Navy coming. And it's good that it has come round, you know, because what you don't want to do is the Army winning every single year. You know, as an Army supporter, it's great, you know, that the Army are winning every single year, but you don't want that for a tournament, you know, because it just becomes dull and very boring. What you want is a good competitive game, and this is a good competitive game. And with the, you know, it would be very interesting to see how the Navy come out again after last year as well.
Absolutely, as Sam Murby and Tom Shorthouse make their way out to the middle. Tom Shorthouse, captain, of course, last year for the Royal Air Force, influential for so long for his side. Fantastic opening batsman, and top order batsman as well, depending on the format. And a very cool head in his shoulders. Sam Murby in his first Inter Service T20 appearance. And what an opportunity for these two. 143 the target for the Royal Air Force. as we get underway. And a wide ball there offered up by Mohammed Patwari. He was in fantastic form in the Army's victory in the 50-over inter-service competition at Vine Lane last year. And just starting off a little wide there. Running it again past the umpire. Oh, nice connection from Shorthouse. Always a good timer of the ball, isn't he, Richard? And someone I've admired watching with just how compact his batting is.
Absolutely, he is one of the real stalwarts of UCAF cricket. He's obviously in the UCAF side as well. He has scored a century, a number of centuries for the UCAF side.
Oh, and the ball just a little straighter there, straying onto the pads, and nothing really coming of it.
And they will want, the RAF will desperately need him to come out today and perform to his ability. You know, there has been years when he hasn't quite done it. A little bit like Wiseman for the Army, he hasn't quite done it on the inter-service platform.
But Marianne again. Oh, it's wide and smeared through those fielders in that extra cover region. And collected by Gabriel on the boundary. Shorthouse, scorer of a fantastic century last year in the 50-over competition. As you say, in the 20 overs, just trying to get his account up and running this year, and frustrated with some recent performances, perhaps. And an appeal there. Looked a bit high on Sam Murby. Yeah, height there, the issue. And the umpire signalling a leg by in the end.
He's definitely doing plenty, isn't it, this pitch?
Which I guess for some might be counterintuitive, perhaps, when you look up at the sky and you think it's a beautiful day for batting, but a little bit of nibble. That's another thing Adam Fisher said after yesterday's warm-up match against Hampshire Seconds. And Patwari collecting the ball. Straight there again, patted back down the wicket. And it's a very interesting day and a very interesting time for you, Richard, and in terms of your love of stats and being the stats king, as some have titled you today as well, because we've got Ross Diver's 50th appearance for the Royal Air Force, and Adam Fisher now the joint most caps for the Royal Air Force as well. We're hearing anyway that it might be Tom Shorthouse's last year. Jay Boynton saying this will be his final time in the T20 shirts for the Army. So a busy time for those involved in stats and for your stats books.
Absolutely, and I have all the records of every inter-services match that's ever been played, going all the way back to the days of the Army Navy being played at Lords only, and the Air Force basically having to play wherever they can. But it was always the annual fixture at Lords Army Navy, a 3-day fixture as well. Then it came down to a 2-day fixture, and then they started playing 1-day cricket as the calendar got more condensed at Lords. So yes, there's only a handful of players who have played 50 matches in the inter-services competition.
That's a bit wide from Jake Benson to start. The tall off spinner, and signalled wide there. 4 for none, the Royal Air Force after 1 over in their response. Tickled round the corner, and the batsman accept. Fairly straightforward run, but yeah, to reach 50 caps, well, congratulations to Ross Diver, hard-hitting top-order batsman. We've enjoyed watching his strike play over the years. Benson in again, and just opening the shoulders a little bit, and oh, that went begging that chance. One-handed there, square leg. Would have been a beautiful take. The ball just fizzing out towards that position. A chance to breathe as well for Tom Shorthouse. A bit back of a length, rocks back and knocks that down towards long on and gets the single.
The RAF obviously prefer Sam Morby to Ross Diver at the top of the innings, which is slightly unusual because Diver he is a hard hitter, and you kind of expect him to be at the top of the order rather than the middle.
A muted appeal for LBW from the fielders rather than the bowler himself. As you say, that presence at the top of the order we've become accustomed to. Ross Diver at the top. Oh, and just pinging him back again, of course, pitching just outside. And yeah, ball moving a little bit, turning, I think, plenty for the spinners. Jake Benson yesterday finding a bit of grip.
There is plenty of turn out there. It really is a lot of turn.
Oh, a lovely straight strike there. And a 1-bounce 4. Lovely from Sam Murby. And showing us why he's been given the nod at the top of the order. And lovely stuff from him. Yeah, conditions that I guess, Richard, one might expect in midsummer, July or August. And for the spinners, development of spinners, we've heard so much over the last couple of years about development of spinners in the county championship and making sure that they have conditions which they can really become attacking spinners in as well and develop their game. But, well, we've had the weather so far this year too.
Have we ever? It's been absolutely outstanding. This time last year, we were wondering when the cricket season was even going to start for quite a lot of clubs. We barely missed a ball so far this year. It's incredible the weather we've had.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. And it's allowed those early season fixtures to be played, mostly. Patwari coming back in. On flick, that's a beautiful shot from Shorthouse. A trademark shot from him, former RAF skipper. And races away to the boundary.
Sorry. He needs a good season to get up to 1,000 runs, actually. He's about 170 runs short before today of 1,000 runs in Inter Services tournaments. So he could make a big dent into this. But obviously, from the Army's point of view, they'd rather hope he doesn't.
That's great to be joined on commentary, Richard Isaacs, and also now by Lieutenant Colonel Ed Sothery, a man who oversees all things Army cricket. As Patwari comes in and Shorthouse tries to get on the attack there and scampers a signal. And yes, an interesting score there first up, of course, 142 for 8. But as Richard has been saying himself, you know, on that wicket, which is still showing us a few demons, well, I've got to wait until both sides are batted at.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, that's just lofted over mid-wicket.
Bit of a race on to get to that ball. The fielder does well. Denzel James down there, firing it in. That sun hat on.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, there were some of the RF spinners actually got quite a lot of turn, and the one thing we're not short of in the Army side at the moment is spin bowling. So with a bit of luck, I'm hoping that the score's competitive. I think we would have liked probably an extra 20, 25 runs, but you know, you have to hand it to the RAF. Their ground fielding was superb.
Yeah, well, it was an idea touted up here a short time before you joined us, Ed, that there could be potentially 16 overs of Army spin. And Benson, Boynton, Dearden in the ranks, of course. Plenty of experience in there too. As Patwari comes in past the umpire, through the crease once more. Oh, and it's a bit of a swing and a miss, and that ball seemed to jump up a little on Shorthouse, just as we've been saying.
Yeah, it just seemed to kiss the surface and lift a little, didn't it? So, yeah, Pat's not normally one that gets the ball to rise quite that much. So it offers the bowlers there a little bit of a glimmer of hope, I think.
Well, you mentioned the importance of your spinners, but just how crucial has Pat been as an opening bowler with his pace and his movement with that new ball?
Yeah, he's had an exceptional couple of years with us actually. The start of this season, he and Stavron Gabriel, who's our other seamer, have been doing quite a lot of damage up front, which is always nice. You know, you can count on 4 overs of quality seam.
Ball tickled round the corner, and the fielder doing well just to stop it on its way to the boundary. Royal Air Force 20 for none off their first 3 overs in response.
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough to get invited out to Rome at the end of last season. So Pat was one of the players that came with us and did rather well.
That is a glorious lofted extra cover drive. Fantastic 6 from Tom Shorthouse. Another shot we've become accustomed to seeing him play, and just pure class in that strike.
He kept his shape, kept his balance, and he struck that beautifully over the top of over cover.
One of his trademark shots, that.
Yeah,
pays out a lot.
Inside out, absolutely glorious.
A man who's, I'm sure Richard kept you busy over the years with his achievements.
Absolutely, he is a phenomenal cricketer, both for the RAF and for UCAF.
Benson in again, just back of a length this time again, and a dot ball. Army trying to keep things tight, seeing of course what the Royal Air Force did at the beginning of their bowling effort. Nice use of the wrists there, and it should be a fairly regulation too as well, as Gabriel throws the ball back towards the wicket.
Yeah, it was a beautiful shot into the leg side there. He's just he's found the gap quite nicely. It's an easy 2.
Ball just sliding
Great
through.
Response.
Not sure if it was the arm ball, but certainly went through beautifully.
And I'm interested to know, from your point of view, from the Army management point of view, the choice of Wiseman as keeper today. He hasn't kept pretty much all season. You've gone with Hardy or Preston, but Wisey's here today. What's the thought behind that?
Connor Preston sadly is currently deployed out in Kenya on exercise with the battalion, so he's out in Kenya with One Royal Anglian, and Rashawn Lewis, who was our sort of second choice. Sadly, he's got a very badly bruised thumb, which he picked up last week. So we've made the choice that Wisey's going to do it. It gives us the option to have an additional batter, but also that additional bowler, which for the additional spinner, we thought would be key this afternoon.
Army 30 for no wicket off, or the Royal Air Force, I should say, off their 4 overs. And change of bowling. Ross Dearden coming into the attack. Plenty of experience, Dearden. A nice pick up and throw there, and seemed closer in the end than what it may have appeared as the batsmen were halfway through that attempt. But yeah, Dearden seems just to have the ability to fire that ball through. And that sort of very languid run through the crease, that delivery stride.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a left arm in your side, just taking the ball away from a right-hand batsman. Always bowls a nice tight line. He's, little darts in at the batsman. Doesn't give you a lot of time to think about your shot selection. And again, he's through the crease quite quickly. Again, back to his bowling mark quite quickly. And again, just not giving the batsman the time to settle.
That's nicely played by Shorthouse through mid-wicket. And a single is taken again. So the Royal Air Force just looking to rotate strike as much as they can here, with that tight bowling from Ross Dearden. Fairly leg side, that delivery. And another opportunity here, and a direct hit as well. Keddy Lasporus asking for the replay there, asking for the referral. He's full of fun, that man.
Not playing Stanford Super Series now, is he?
Dearden once more into a man he knows very well in Tom Shorthouse. And well, a full bunger, but just not
he's
back
got away with that one, I think.
To the bowler. As he comes in again. And he's quick through his overs as well as any good spinner is.
The start that they've made, they've allowed themselves to take the little punchy little single there. You know, it's a very decent start. Was it 30 for naught off 4? That's at the end of the previous over.
35 for none off 5 overs.
See, that's way more than the Army had at the same time.
Absolutely, they're going at sevens.
Yeah,
they're doing it through good, intelligent cricket, just the drop and run, running between the wickets has been exceptional. They're showing real intent right at the
They
start.
really are, and they put themselves into that position already, and now they've almost forced Narayan to come on now.
Yeah, Narayan coming on in the 6th over. Getting himself accustomed to the turf. Shorthouse on strike. And whipped down towards Jake Benson at long on. An underarm throw back to the bowler.
It's just intelligent cricket. That was just an intelligent cricket shot.
Absolutely.
Nothing more than that. Simple single.
So it's a good ball. The gap's there. They've just pushed it, taken the single. Again, they're just starting to build a decent partnership here. There'll be wickets in hand. Oh, just moved away from him. Kept a little bit low as well. A lowy, as Marnus would say.
Among many things he would say.
Oh yeah. Very chippy, chirpy.
Oh, that ball is just skewed off the outside edge. And it's a wicket for the British Army. Jay Boynton gratefully accepting that catch after Ryan's bowling. And an important wicket as well.
Spice gets another breakthrough.
We were talking about them being intelligent cricket, and that was a really unintelligent cricket shot. That was just a hack.
That was a
an
bit of a
awful
smear.
hack.
Yeah.
Hacked by Murby and rather across the line too. And just sat up nicely for Boynton. Straight into the bread basket.
It just wasn't a shot that was needed at the time. You know, just again, just play the percentage shot. That just wasn't the percentage shot. Army will take it though, for sure.
Absolutely.
As Luke Hansford strolls out, join the former skipper at the crease. Just offered the Army an opening here. Murby with that shot. Boynton, you feel, always prowling there at his position.
They would have known that he was there though. Of that you can be certain. He would have announced himself as being there.
You always know where Jay is on the cricket pitch.
Yeah, it's a good set of pipes, Jay Boynton.
Unique, I think, would be the description I give.
And there he is in the action once more. Deft little late cut towards him.
Denson Narayan, phenomenal cricketer for the Army for a number of years now. Supremely fit, incredible athlete, fantastic cricketer. It must be a joy to have him in your ranks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not quite sure. I won't reveal Spice's age on air, but he's.
It's not the number on his shirt, I imagine.
No.
Oh, and that ball's just flicked over. Fine leg and gone for 4. But a man who's been around for a year or two.
He's been an absolutely magnificent servant to Army cricket. He really has, for both the Army side and for the Royal Logistics Corps.
But that was a poor ball for the last ball of the over. You want to see the over out, and that wasn't the ball to bowl and to see it out.
That was that gave him a good pressure release.
41 for 1. The Royal Air Force off 6 overs. Dearden coming back on.
Army were 24 for 2 after 6.
Yeah, really pegged back in those opening phases in that power play. Dearden gets ready to come into Hansford this time. Oh, and a big appeal there from Dearden. As Hansford got out the reverse.
He's got a nibble on it. That's why it wasn't out. But my goodness, if he hadn't got a nibble on it, that was absolutely stoners.
I didn't hear much bat in there. I thought that might have just been outside the line, personally. I think come a long way across. Ross does dart it in at leg stump.
Lofting that ball. Just 1 or 2 bounces to the fielder. Tom Shorthouse.
I fancy he's the key wicket, Shorthouse.
Yeah, Shorthouse and no fish.
Squirts off the outside edge. Down towards Mohammad Patwari. And they run through for the single.
You would think that Jay will be on fairly shortly against Shorthouse, who they played a lot with each other and against each other.
Smashed through extra cover there from Shorthouse. It's an absolute beauty off the bat. And 4 runs once more for the RAF man.
Yeah, he's used his feet beautifully, created a relatively decent ball into a full toss, and he's just smashed that through extra cover.
That was a great shot. That really was a very, very fine cricket shot.
Excellent use of the feet.
Sign of a very good player, making it look easy as well. And also another sign that he's able to take singles where others might not dare. But a beautifully fluid batsman, Tom Shorthouse. Compact, wonderful timer of the ball.
Yeah, taking singles where many don't dare, taking singles to Spice Narayan is something you don't do very often.
Another over through for Dearden. The RAF just continue to tick along here.
Yeah, no, I've just noticed Jay's just given Stav Gabriel a bit of a warning order, so I think he'll be coming on from that top end in the next over.
Effervescent character, Stav Gabriel, a man who chatted to us yesterday, Ed, as you're well aware, and spoke of his excitement to be involved and a fair bit of pace.
Yeah, literally. I mean, this time last year he was just finishing off training, so he's made his way through our pathway through the development 11, and rightly so. He's got his opportunity today to bowl for the Army and the Inter Services.
50 for 1 off. There's 7 overs so far. Spice Narayan continuing from this end.
As manager of the Army team, Ed, you must be encouraged by the amount of very fine cricketers that are coming through the development team.
Absolutely. I mean, it really is an absolute joy to behold. I mean, we've got a really strong setup at the moment, and it's delivering in spades, which is great, because it only takes an operational tour here or there, a large major NATO exercise or something similar, and then in the case we've seen. Last year or so, we take Carmichael, we picks up quite a serious injury, and we don't see them very often. So to have that strength, and the strength in depth is absolutely crucial and absolutely key.
I know the boys didn't enjoy being beaten by them last week at Tidworth.
We never enjoy being beaten by the second 11.
Nice running again from RAF batsman Shorthouse and Hansford.
Getting to the point where they're going to need to start eking out wickets now. They've got to try and be a little bit funky, possibly, to try and find a breakthrough, because they are just milking. They are just milking at the moment.
Yeah, they've got wickets in hand. They don't need to play the big shots at the moment. They're ticking this run rate off quite nicely. We do need another breakthrough.
It's a lovely strike from Shorthouse, but straight to the man at extra cover. Ross Dearden there. Be trading his sun hat in to come on to bowl again. Yeah, Shorthouse, a man who's going through the 20s, the 30s, the 40s in terms of his innings. Blink and you miss it. He just accumulates so quickly, doesn't he?
Very much so, and if he does get to 20-30, you are in trouble. You are in trouble, because he doesn't go small. He goes big.
Yeah, he's 33 not out in this innings of 55 for 1 off 8 overs for the Royal Air Force, Tom Shorthouse, as Stav Gabriel marks out his run-up. Very exciting player. Said that Shane Watson was his first cricketing hero. Said that he's enjoying doing the champions DJ Bravo dance with some of the boys in the dressing room as well, as he comes in to bowl. He played off the bat there, and a look for 2 in the RAF, which come back comfortably for.
Yeah, I've seen him bowl a few times in the games that I've officiated, and he does bowl with a bit of gas, which is good to see. He's quite a slinging action bowler, and he obviously gets quite a decent amount of pace off the pitch.
He's not the tallest, but I tell you what, he obviously puts a few hours in the gym because he's got incredibly powerful shoulders, and that slinging action works quite nicely.
It was interesting yesterday to see Hampshire seconds just utilise his pace. A few uppercuts, a few cuts behind point, just realising that that gas is there.
And the odd cheeky dill scoop, which was actually showed the class of professional cricketers playing military players.
Didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, no, they were
like Sam Constas, the Australian
absolutely,
side.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely again from Shorthouse. That's just fantastic batting. Just opening the face a little there, finding the gap, enjoying another Shorthouse boundary.
Takes a special player to be able to play a shot like that time and time and time again. You know, on this pitch, that's the long boundary out there. A lot of batters would be looking at the short boundary and going, yeah, that's where I'm going to get my runs. That's the second one he's hit to. The third one he's hit to the long boundary in that corner. It doesn't matter. I'll go before that.
And so comfortable hitting on the up as well, Tom Shorthouse, where other players might not be able to get that ball through. But as we see, Gabriel just bowling a wide there. But
yeah, he's just changed his angle there and just pushed it a little bit too far down the leg side. So to be fair, Tom's come across a long way to it as well. That's probably not missed leg stump by a huge amount.
Oh, and that ball's just lofted over into the deep. They'll keep him to 2 there, but an example of what Gabriel faced up against yesterday, just using that pace, lofting it over the top.
I did notice from the scorecard they didn't go lightly on you, did they? The Hampshire team, some seriously good players played in that game.
Yeah, Weatherly, Felix Organ, Ali Orr. I mean, we were definitely up against it yesterday. I mean, cracking experience for all of the players, both us and the RAF that played in the first game.
Because the Army beat Hampshire second team a few years ago, and you always kind of wonder if there's still a little bit of scarring from that they just don't.
We beat them here,
yeah,
and they had loaded that side as well. And if I remember rightly, we chased down an enormous score.
A bit of an appeal there for somewhat of a nick, but nothing from the umpires. As Hansford pulled that, but nothing came off it in the end.
Yeah, it was a cracking game. Hampshire batted first, and I think they put in excess of 250 on the board, and we chased it down. I mean, it started in the worst possible moment when our opening batsman, Jordan Ralph, God rest his soul, had his off stump removed for the first ball. And from there, Take It On Michael and Graham Wiseman just set about their Hampshire bowling attack with, I mean, balls into the golf course, balls into the Utilita, into the main stadium. It was a phenomenal innings. So much so that Somerset, who were actually training in the nets for their Royal London game the next day on the main ground, stopped to watch. It was that impressive.
Boynton now into his work with the ball. Very canny operator through the years.
Wiseman can do that, but we haven't seen it enough in Inter Services tournaments, which is always disappointing. You look at his record and you think he's a considerably better batter than his Inter Services record actually states.
Huge appeal there from Boynton. Umpire not interested.
I do enjoy watching Boisman bat though when he's in the mood.
Just advancing down the wicket there, Luke Hansford.
Good use of the
Very
feed
keen
again.
for 2. A nice running from the RAF pair.
Just not letting us generate pressure. The running between the wickets has been exceptional.
Intelligent cricket, the two of you were mentioning. Moving around the crease well as well, Luke Hansford. Clever batting.
Good arm from Michael Cowdell in the deep there.
Another one out of the development theme of recent times.
Playing development cricket last year and into the services this year.
Good with the bat earlier as well, Cowdell. Gabriel onto that in a flash. It's keeping them to 1.
I'm finding it hard to recognise Boynton with a beard.
It's funny because I sometimes feel the opposite effect, really, when we're looking archive footage from a couple of years ago, and I'm thinking, that is Jay. Yes, it is, without the beard. 66 for 1 off 9 overs, the Royal Air Force. Shorthouse into the 40s, 41 not out. Hansford 11 not out.
Yeah, the RAF were really stung last year with that rain off in the end, which was sad because it just ruined the day in many ways. And you just fancy that they are seriously up for that this year.
Gabriel in once more. Oh, and thumped back past him by Shorthouse. Just for a single this time. Yeah, just in reference to that, Richard, Adam Fisher, as with any inter-service captain, but just looking very focused. Chatting to him the last couple of days, and a man on a mission, really. Ball a bit loose there, and finding its way to the boundary. Wide ball past the keeper and past the efforts of Denzel James.
Cannot afford wides, and certainly not for them to go for 4 either. That's a costly mistake. That. We need to pick it up a little bit, the Army here, otherwise they're just going to get railroaded. RAF are playing some super cricket. They really are. They're playing very, very sensible. No danger cricket, just very sensible cricket.
Happy to play at this tempo as well.
Well, they've got wickets in hand, which is at this stage is always absolutely vital. You know, they lose 1, that probably won't upset them too much. 2, you know, they'll start to get a little bit more nervous. But yeah, they've got some good players to come still, and we've got to try and take some wickets here.
Oh, the ball just striking Hansford in the back of his leg, limping through that, but he's fine.
ECB are getting quite hot on that sort of thing, aren't they, about throwing the ball in and sort of hitting the batter. That was obviously unintentional. He was going for the stumps and it just hit him on the way through, but they are getting quite hot on that, I notice.
Gabriel in again. It's lovely from Shorthouse. Very soft hands there from the former skipper.
I must admit, I didn't think there was 2 there to Jake's arm.
This way is on the boundary. Benson, very strong arm.
But again, shows the intent. They're really pushing for that second, running the first one really quickly. Again, it's really intelligent running between the wickets, creating that pressure on the fielder, looking for that
beautiful shot. And well fielded as well. Kadilasporus on the boundary. Appreciation from his teammates as well.
That's the one thing actually within Royal Navy are here watching, and you'll definitely know that they are picking that up, that they are running the first one quickly, and therefore they need to close that down on Thursday if they are going to get anywhere in this tournament. And if they aren't spotting that, then they absolutely need to.
Oh, beautifully picked up by Hansford. Gorgeous pull shot there. He's a man timing it beautifully.
Picked up the length so quickly, he's just rocked onto the back foot and then pulled that away.
And timing it very nicely, Luke Hansford. As the RAF pair stop for a drink in the sunshine here in Hampshire.
I fancy if the Army are going to get anywhere in this game, that may be the last we see of Gabriel. I don't think we'll see Patwari either. I think it will be spin for the remaining innings, and just finding a way. They have to find a way, otherwise they're just going to get beaten in the 17th, 18th over here. Otherwise, they have to break a breakthrough soon. Otherwise, it's game over, really.
Absolutely, and I think that's why the skipper's brought himself back on. So, in Jay we trust, as we say in the Army side.
85 for 1 off 11, the Royal Air Force. Very short from Boynton and getting the treatment there. That ball's been hammered away to deep mid-wicket.
I might have just put the commentator's curse on him.
That was a rank long hop, and that was horrible. But well put away. And it was a great effort there from Gabriel. He did give it a good effort to try and stop that in the way that fielders do these days. It's certainly not the way that I would have done it. I would have just waved it through for 4. But no, he really did put the effort in. But Boynton's got a ball better than that. He can ball better than that. He is better ball than that.
Much fuller this time from Boynton. Opened the face there. Short house, but only as far as point. And again, and ooh, ball snuck through somehow. How did that miss?
I think that's exactly what Jay is just saying. Just dropped to his knee there, wondering how that has missed all 3.
My goodness, that was close.
Keeping a bit low as well, that delivery. Pain etched across Jay Boynton's face there on the way back to his mark. That ball turned around the corner, and that's good running again from the RAF.
He's seen that last ball turn, and he's taken the pace off that to try and get it to turn in almost the same way again. But it wasn't quite the same line. He just nibbled it around the corner for 1.
Sweep comes out off the pad. And distant appeals almost from some of the fielders.
I'm not sure Jay was very impressed with that shot either.
Characteristic little flick from Shorthouse. And lovely half-century from the man himself, raising his bat to warm applause at the pavilion. His teammates and those who've come to watch.
That is a truly high-class 50, that. It really is. Not very, he's taken his time. He's not got it in 20 balls or 25 balls. He's probably taken 30, 35 balls. Maybe even more than that, possibly.
39 balls for 50.
39 balls. You see, that's sensible cricket. Only chasing 7 and over. 39 ball 50. That's more than acceptable. That's a very, very fine innings from Shorthouse.
92 for 1 off 12 overs. The Royal Air Force going at a canter here.
And steered and back into the attack.
Shorthouse almost looking like he made that 50 without breaking sweat. Opening the shoulders a bit there. Cracking it out to the boundary. But, just a single. Gabriel patrolling that rope.
And as mentioned sort of earlier on when Gabriel bowled his last over, he's going to be spin. It's going to be spin, spin, spin now. they're just milking it. The RAF are just milking it now. They're in such a position now. They need 50 to win in 7 overs, 8 overs. It's really a walk.
Oh, and that's just absolutely hammered into the main ground at Utilita. Picked up and given plenty of air. Well over that fencing and in towards the seats in the main stadium.
Taken full advantage of a rank long hop. That's just meat and drink to a batter of Shorthouse's quality.
Giving that delivery the respect it deserves, or rather lack thereof.
Down the groundsman's tunnel, see if you can find it.
The ball's just thrown back onto the field of play. The ball which may be getting more and more chewed up with some of those maximums, finding the tarmac. Ooh, that's well bowled by Dearden.
Yeah, that's an excellent response.
That was a very, very good response, and well taken by Wiseman as well. Not a regular keeper, but he's doing more than a sufficient job.
Late cut comes in. But Worry throws it back.
The other big factor now is, obviously, if the Army do go on to lose this.
That is
out.
Solid strike and a good effort there in the deep. But another 6 for Tom Shorthouse. He loves playing over that offside. Just giving that ball a bit of loft and elevation, and it does the job.
I thought for a half a moment that wasn't going to clear him, and he was going to take a regulation catch out there at deep long off. Sadly, not to be.
Shorthouse brings up his 50, and RAF bring up their 100 in the last few moments. 107 for 1 now off 13 overs.
And this is the other factor now, is if the Army are going to lose this game, which is looking ever likely, they need to take it as deep as possible. Otherwise, if they beat the RAF, and it comes down to net run rate, and anything could happen on a day like that.
Well, we've seen it before at Arundel, where we needed to hit 120 odd in about 11 overs back in COVID times in about 2022, I think it was, and we managed to get through there. Here comes Boynton again.
Beautiful use of the feet from Hansford.
But you don't want to be in that position where you have to chase it down within in a silly amount of time.
Absolutely not, but it does make for a great watch.
It certainly does.
But only if you're in neutral.
Which we are, of course.
No, I'm not. I'm wearing my army blazer. Be as neutral as you like, Richard.
As you say, anything can happen on Thursday at Lords. There's 2 matches against the Royal Navy for both these sides. And especially if any weather comes into it, like it did last year, run rate certainly becomes a factor. That ball hit very straight back past the stumps. And it is fielded in the end.
I didn't think it was. The sight screen was in the way of us there. And the fielders almost felt that they were looking at each other to say, well, wasn't that yours? And it was one of theirs in the end.
It's rocking back and pushing it through the offside there. Shorthouse. It's just not allowing the Army to build up any dot balls really at all through this innings. Or sequence of dots.
And that's what the RAF did with the Army batting. They actually they got a whole string of dots in.
Yeah, applied a huge amount of pressure.
Wiseman just stopping that ball from going to the boundary. Drifting past leg.
Having seen this pitch yesterday, obviously this is the same pitch that they used yesterday, was batting first the right choice to make?
Yeah, I think it was actually. I mean, you know, you can see it's definitely taking some spin. It's definitely taking some turn, and I think it was very much the right call. I think it's usually, and I say usually because today we've not posted the most competitive total. Normally, you go out bat first. You post a decent score. I'd almost guarantee the guys to defend that. But you know, for all the reasons we've already discussed, you know, the RAF are running beautifully between the wickets, and they are punishing the bad ball.
113 for 1 off 14. Royal Air Force to get ever closer to that target of 143 to win.
And just goes to show what I know. Here comes Mohammed Patwari again.
Must have heard you, Richard.
It's going to be spin, spin, spin. Apart from this over from Patwari, obviously. Just to mix it up, possibly.
Yeah, I think a change of pace is always good. You know, don't want to get too settled against the spinners. You know, there's an inside edge there just to prove the point.
Ball almost finding its way through, but inside edge goes for 4. Streaky boundary, but a 4 is a 4 nonetheless.
And the other thing is, it's good that the ground is this dimension, if you like, because at Lord's on Thursday there will be a short side and a long side. So it's perfect preparation and similar kind of facility, obviously without the slope. By design or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Worrying. Ooh, swing and a miss from
of
Hansford.
Extra lift there, a little bit of extra pace.
Lifted his head as well a little bit there.
Another day you get a nibble on that and things change. It's such fine margins in cricket. It's such a crazy sport.
One of the many reasons we love it so much. And that ball's just been chipped out towards Kelly Lasporus on the boundary.
How many times have we done sort of double header matches in various guises in preparations for T20 matches, and someone gets a 70 and a first baller? Utter nonsense cricket, it really is. Or a bowler takes 4 for 10 and then 0 for 90. not 90, but that's an exaggeration. But
it's panned around the park just after record figures that have gone down in your book.
Absolutely, and it happens all the time as well. It's just such a stupid game. There's a lad at my cricket club, he's got 200s to start the season. Third game, first ball duck. It's like, you think, oh, it's an easy game this. It really isn't.
Makes predicting it ever the more difficult as well.
So Jay's come on again. They've got to find a way. I think the field is spread a little bit too much for my liking.
Yeah, just 121 now for 1 into the 16th over, and just 22 needed for the Royal Air Force to win this match.
That's just an easy single down the ground.
Pointing in again. Oh, and that's a huge hit over deep mid-wicket from Luke Hansford.
And that is in the golf course.
4.
Of a very different kind. Yeah, something we're used to seeing from him. Those powerful levers.
That's the long side as well, and that's over the fence and into the golf course. That's a huge hit.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from Luke Hansford. Into the 40s now.
And just quietly done it. No histrionics, no nothing. He's just quietly gone about his work. He's been hugely supportive of Shorthouse, and he's just got to 40. And people will look at the scoreboard and go, crikey, how did you get 40? He's got 40 because he's played very, very sensible cricket, and he's played very, very well. And he's just taken his chance.
Yeah, Shorthouse 64 not out now. Two of them, as you say, Richard, in that partnership complemented each other well too. But similarly, their running between the wickets has been fantastic.
So that wicket of Morby earlier on, it could have been a catalyst for something drastic for the RAF, but they absolutely shut the Army down completely here.
Now full bunger again. Trying to bisect those two fielders.
Well, that's great.
Gabriel does well. Nice diving stop there.
But again, that's in the gap. It's not straight to the fielder. It was always going to be a clear 2. If they hit it straight to the fielder, it would have been 1. They found the space. It was a full toss, yes, but they found the space between the two fielders. Okay, it wouldn't go for 4, but it's definitely still going to be 2.
Yeah.
Needless.
Sloppy there from the Army.
That's frustration, I'm afraid.
As you say, a bit of frustration creeping through at this stage.
And that's Kelly Les Boris as well. He should be more savvy than that.
Yeah, under 29 needed to win this match for the Royal Air Force. Just 12 needed, in fact. 4 overs in which to do it. 131 for 1. Tom Shorthouse on 64 and Luke Hansford 41. 41 from 32 balls. 5 4s and 2 6s for Shorthouse. Looks like another boundary coming right now.
That is
and an area he's become very familiar with today. Lovely stuff from Shorthouse.
That's pure class. That is a pure class cricket shot.
Exquisite cover drive. Hit it all the way on the floor for 4. Long boundary. It's just whistled.
Sounds coming off his bat today are just exquisite.
And you look at the field, and there's no sound. The Army have gone completely quiet throughout the RAF innings, throughout the Army innings that you heard the RAF fielders. There's no sound going out there, and it's almost like they're fielding with about 7. The gaps are chasms, and they're just finding them with such ease. Not intentional. You know, it's not intentional, the feeling of the chasms, but the way the batters are playing, it just feels like they're finding huge spaces, huge gaps in the field. Even Jay's gone quiet. Sort of.
Silence is deafening, and as you say, just Army heads down. Players looking at the ground. That ball's chipped, and well, it's a 4 once more over the head of Ross Dearden. And looked for a split second as if he might go for that with one hand. And, well, it was a piercing shot, really. And another boundary.
4 to win.
Dearden gets it this time, and a bit of a stinger there. Another over goes by. Into the 70s now, Tom Shorthouse, and well, just 2 runs to win for the Royal Air Force, 3 overs in which to do it. It's been a thing of beauty to watch this innings, this partnership in particular, the way they've gone about it, the way they've just kept the scoreboard ticking, playing lots of beautiful shots and lots of very clever cricket as well.
They've played beautifully, these two. They really, really have it. Like I said, it could have been dangerous when the wicket fell, to that needless shot and caught by Boynton, and it was just like, oh, one down, one brings two and all that sort of malarkey that cricketers use, but not a bit of it. These two have played supremely well.
No, they've executed, I think, almost the perfect game plan in the chase. They've set themselves a really solid foundation up front, and not taking any silly risks. They've rotated the strike beautifully, and sadly we're going to come out second best on this one, I think.
And Benson just sliding that ball through as we wait for the final. Oh, and that's stumping to finish Hansford's innings personally.
That was
just a couple to win, and well, they may only need two, but going to have to do it with another partner for Tom Shorthouse. As the skipper himself, perhaps a fitting way to finish this match, as Adam Fisher jogs out to meet the former skipper.
That was the glory shot, wasn't it?
That was finishing with a 6.
Yeah, that was, look at me, I finished the game with a glorious shot over the top, and unfortunately he's succumbed, but it's far too late now for the Army. But super innings from Hansford.
Brilliant stuff from Hansford. 43 runs, 2 4s, 2 6s, 126 his strike rate, and warm applause from his teammates. They're fully appreciative of his efforts in getting them into this position. And just seconds away, you feel, from wrapping this Inter Services opener up.
2 4s, 2 6s, that's all. No flourishing boundaries, not lots of it, just nurdling 1s, 2s, occasional 4, big 6 into the ground. But yeah, super innings, really, really super innings, and very well controlled. Super knock.
Benson in. And what a way to finish it. The skipper himself, Adam Fisher. Beautiful slog sweep towards deep mid-wicket, and the fence between the nursery ground and the golf course hammered once more by an RAF batsman. This time Adam Fisher. What a fitting way to finish this match. They get their tournament off to a flyer, the Royal Air Force, as they look ahead to taking on the Royal Navy at Lords in that final match on Thursday. The Army also looking ahead to their match with the Navy, looking to pick themselves up after this defeat. And it's been a thoroughly impressive one from the Light Blues. What a performance from them. A masterful innings from Tom Shorthouse too. What a hand he's played for his side, hearing that it might be his last season. But plenty of respect out there as well from both sets of players.
If you'll excuse me, gentlemen, I'm going to head off to the changing room.
Well, we appreciate your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you again soon, and good luck to you on Thursday. Absolutely.
Thanks all.
And Richard, well, what an innings from Tom Shorthouse. What a way to finish from Adam Fisher, and what a way to start the tournament for the Royal Air Force.
Absolutely. That's a proper win. That's a proper win from the RAF, that. And and the Army will have to do some serious soul searching after that performance today. They didn't get off to the great start. They were only 24 for 2 at the end of the power play, which is just not enough in the power play. You won the toss, you batted first. You need to go big in the power play to get at least, the pro side say get at least 50. 50 for 1, 2 is a good start. 24 for 2 is a nothing start. And to get to 140 was a good effort in the end. It was a decent effort in the end, but it's, as it's proven, nowhere ever near enough. The RAF played that innings perfectly. They chased it perfectly. They hit the 1s, they hit the 2s, they hit the boundaries when it was fine, and finding the space in the outfield. Wowee! What a super innings from Shorthouse and from Hansford as well. They just picked the Army off there, and the Army will have to lick their wounds, and they will have to do it fast, because you just never know what's happening with the Navy. They could be the best side yet again, like they were last year. You just never know, and if the Army play like they did again today, they're going to be third again.
Yeah, that control, perhaps the most impressive element of today's performance, and it's been an absolute wonder to watch. And speaking of performances over the years, Kath Brazier is down in the outfield with a man who reached his 50th cap today. What a way to reach that, Ross Diver.
I'll be there. As in, the idea there is you guys are anything accessible. Nothing accessible. Harry was down to the bowler, so generate a pace. So the idea there was a lot of time.
Hi Ross, so we're here with Ross Diver from RAF cricket team. I know you didn't actually get a chance to go on and bat there, but a really good result for the Light Blues ahead of Thursday.
Yeah, great effort from all the boys. Superb to knock it off with 2 wickets. Tom Shorthouse and Luke Hansford were brilliant there. Really good.
You're here celebrating your 50th cap today. That's quite an innings for yourself for the Light Blues.
Yeah, 16 years trolling all around the country. It's been a long old slog, but yeah, it's been brilliant.
What made the difference? I would say that the Army didn't put enough on the board really to begin with, so you were quite confident going into your innings that you could knock that off within the 20 overs.
Yeah, I think they just lacked a bit of impetus in their first 6 really, and I thought we managed the game really well, ran 2s out to the boundary really well as well, played risk-free cricket.
So it means you get second game on Thursday up against reigning champions with the Navy. Interesting, isn't it, at the moment, because I would say across the 3 teams, would you say there is a strong contender even though they're reigning champions, or are you feeling quite confident ahead of that as well?
It's always nice to go in with a compelling victory, but the Navy boys were really strong last year. Obviously they won it, so we need to play our best cricket. If we play our best cricket, I feel like we can win the tournament.
And as ever, it's not over until it's over, because the Army could turn up on Thursday and whack it out the ground, couldn't they?
Yeah, indeed. And then it'll be tournament referee to figure out our net run rate, which will be a nightmare, but hopefully we can get over the line.
Well, Ross, go and celebrate with your team. Congratulations. Thanks, we'll see you Thursday.
Thanks very much.
Now, just a quick one, Richard, on Ross Diver. We know of his prowess with the bat and his influential leadership and experience through the years, but a nice day out for him. He wasn't needed in the end.
No, £5 please, Ross. Didn't bat, didn't bowl, no catches. £5 please, Ross. Nice fresh air game. Fantastic. What an achievement. There's not many players. There's only I think he's the 6th to play in 50 Inter Services matches. Jonathan Parker, the leading one, with 56. But 50 matches for him, superb.
Cass with Luke Hansford now. Influential innings from him. Let's hear what he has to say.
An amazing innings in there for you, Luke. I mean, you would say that, well, I wouldn't say it was a team effort, obviously, but a very strong performance from you.
Yeah, I mean, lads just pulled together really well. Great first innings from the bowlers, made it really hard for them in the power play. And then just, Shorty batted so well, made it so easy for me to come in and just bat with him. Took it away from the Army in about 15 overs. It was really good.
Was there a sort of concerted effort, I mean, to limit the Army? Because it did look like, they've got some big hitters in that side, and you limited them to 142. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had good plans. I think that's probably the main thing. I think we bowled pretty much exactly how we wanted to, and they, to a certain extent, allowed us to do it. Whether we got that right or they got that wrong, I don't really know. But it was a really good effort from the bowlers. Fielded really well, no errors whatsoever. So, top effort from the boys.
Do you imagine much difference on a wicket in Lords than here? Do you think it differs much, or are you pretty confident going in with the same game plan on Thursday?
Yeah, I mean the slope comes into play, doesn't it? No, it's always a good place to play there, but it's always short one side. So dimensions make it a different game, different challenge. Navy have some good batters up top, so it'll be a different day, different challenge.
Correct me if I'm wrong, did you hurt your hand yesterday? And how are you today?
I really didn't want that to come up. I'm going to get so much chat for that. Yeah, I got one just hit back at me and when I was when I was playing yesterday. I spent the afternoon in hospital, but I'm fine today. Couscous is by name, couscous by nature, always in a million pieces. So, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, if that's what a hand injury does to you, I would do that every game because you play brilliantly.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Back to your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, Kath Brazier there with a very happy Luke Hansford. What a hand he's played in today's victory for the Royal Air Force. And for them, all roads lead to Lords on Thursday. We'll be bringing you every second of 3 matches live. UCAF women taking on MCC in the first of 3. And then the Army go head-to-head with the Royal Navy, defending champions, of course, their victory last year. And then the RAF against the Royal Navy. What a fantastic tussle that'll be. What a day it's going to be, Richard. You'll be alongside as well. And a very busy day for you too.
It will be a busy day, especially if the forecast is correct, and we rather really hope it's not, because the last thing we want is another rain-affected Lord's Day, because it is such a spectacle. It's such a great day for services cricket to play at Lords, for all 4 sides to play at Lords, with the UCAF ladies as well at MCC, and these 3 sides, 5 sides of course. So it's a special day, you know. The RAF know that's only half job, half done. You know, they will not take this game as job done. They did that last year with the Navy, and you know, and the Navy came out as winners. You know, so they know that this is only job half done. It's only half time in football parlance when they do play 2-legged games. But you know, they know this is important. But for the Army, my goodness, you know, there's going to be some serious words in that changing room now that they just didn't perform. On the big day, they just didn't perform. And the RAF, I would say, will go into Thursday as favourites. You know, the Royal Navy may surprise you. You know, again, like they did last year. You just never know. You never know what you're going to get with the Navy. So I would say they're favourites. But if they play like they did today, you know, and like we said earlier on, cricket's a stupid game, you know, where anything could happen. You know, if they play like they did today, they are nailed on favourites for this tournament.
Oh, what a fantastic bumper day of cricket it's going to be. The Royal Air Force going in to that day, as you say, with plenty of high hopes for the title. And we hope the weather forecast, as it seems to do today, in fact, keeps improving for Thursday. We should get a great day of cricket in, all 3 matches, live, BFBS Forces News YouTube channel. Richard, we greatly appreciate your expertise in joining us today. We'll see you on Thursday. And for all of you joining us today, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in a couple of days at the home of cricket.